Listen, it's New York. This is New York. Everybody late. Everybody.
Because you lousy, that's why you are late.
Everybody late. It's New York. You want to be on time, go to Jamaica and walk to work.
Yes, okay, well, and if I was there, I would have get there.
You're going to be late. That's it. You're going to be late.
I don't give a shit where I won't come from or where.
You mad at him because you're late?
Not from Jamaica either, so you're talking from.
Or wherever you from, you might be on time if you walk there.
I was talking to the driver.
But you're annoying me, so now I'm going to speak on it.
I'm not near your fucking house.
You're fucking annoying
Oh, I
me.
get you now. You live in the house?
You're a
Who you
fucking
live
car.
with and I fucking you?
You know what it is? You upset because you got a bullshit ass job. And you late to your bullshit ass job. You can't buy a car because you got a bullshit ass job. Don't be mad. Don't fuck everybody else day up. Poor lady got a wheelchair. She got on the bus with a wheelchair. That's why the bus is late. You gonna be mad at that? Come on, get out of here. Ask your boss for a raise. You can buy a car, and you won't have to take the fucking bus. I'm gonna probably get fired. I'm mad late. I don't even care. I'll get another job. I'm not gonna get mad at the bus driver. It's my fault. I should have been on the 12:10 instead of the 12:13 bus. That's my fault. That ain't his fault. Wake your ass up early. Put the fucking dumplings down. I mean, and get on the bus. Yo. Wilding out, B. Yo. You could keep going. I could keep going. I'm getting off at 5 Town. So we could do this all the way to 5 Town.
You're retarded.
I'm retarded too? Me and the bus driver, both retarded. Everybody's retarded now. Who else retarded on this bus? This bus too long for everybody to be retarded. The retarded people get on the short bus, not the long bus. Yo, go a little slower, driver. You're going too fast. Slow down a little bit. Get motion sickness on the bus. Slow down a little bit.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo.
Fuck this lady, B. What's she talking about?
Welcome back to another edition of the Preschool Apprentice, okay? Today there was a kerfuffle during playtime, okay? For a couple of weeks at playtime, me and Sleepy Joe have been trying to create the world's biggest Lego tower, okay? And we have slowly been building our Lego towers. I plan on beating him, quite frankly. I plan on beating him so bad. And he plans on beating me. And he was having a hard time, okay? I was doing so well. You look at the teacher. The teacher said, Donnie, you're doing so well. And I said, I know. Look at Sleepy. He's doing terrible. And then he asked the help of Kama Malama. Okay, she's a new student, Kama Malama. And he got Barry to help, and he got Nancy, Nasty Nancy, and he got a lot of other people to come and help. Okay, a lot of other students. Okay, and they helped him. And his tower was getting so huge, he was beating me, quite frankly. So I got my own friends. I got Little Stevie. I got Stinky Steve. I got, Timmy Tommy. I got Tommy Timmy. And I got all these people. And I realized I still needed more help. So I went over to Little Rob. They call him Little Rob. Robo Rob, some people, because he likes to do the roboto. But anyways, irregardless, regurgitative. I went over to him and I said, hey, look, I see you're building your own tower. Why don't we combine towers? And he said, quite frankly, I'm building this for my people. And I think I'm doing a great job. And I said, well, why don't you join me? He said, quite frankly, I don't think I want to, but, I can't join Sleepy Joe because they didn't let me. I tried to join them and they said, no, you can't. You got to build your own tower. So what did I do? I knocked down Robo Rob's tower. I knocked it down. And then he said, well, I have no tower now. I guess I'll help you build your tower. And with our Legos, we're going to be unstoppable, quite frankly.
Oh, nothing like the preschool. Preschool Donald Trump, right? Absolutely nothing like it. Yeah. Sorry I wasn't with you guys yesterday. I had a headache from hell the day before, and the day before that just kind of got to me. You know, when memories come flooding in, you know, uh, they can be a little overpowering at times and uh, exhausting. Really, really exhausting. And let me tell you, for my comment on Crash's uh, thingy, you know, uh, on her post about Mike Gill fighting for child trafficking now. You know, I get to the point where I'm so sick of these people who are just now popping up and saying how they've been in this fight all along and all that, you know. And I'm sorry, but for the first year that we heard about Mike Gill, the only thing he talked about was corruption, money laundering, and drug trafficking. Never said nothing about kids. Nothing about kids. Okay, and this is where I'm going to go with this. You know, all of us got into this fight about the kids. And you guys know my story. We've talked about my story many times, many times on this podcast over the last 6.5, almost 7 years. But hey, I you know, I don't know nothing. I don't have a face. Well, I'll tell you what, I do have a face. People have seen my face. People have heard parts of my story. As a matter of fact, we even had a couple of researchers on podcasts while I'm telling my story. They're actually looking it up, you know, looking it up and seeing that I went to the police. Give me a second here. Why is this not going the way that I want? Give me a second, guys. I don't know what's happening here. Why is this thing acting so retarded? Give it a second. My computer does this every once in a while, and it's got to do with this. So here is my face. I am a real person. I'm real. You see my face? When I told my story, I showed my face. I didn't have an icon up there. I generally don't run my camera because, well, as you can see what just happened here over these last couple of minutes, the problem that my computer has running the camera, I don't know if maybe I just need a new camera or something like that. I don't know, but I'm not sure what it is. But there was my face, you know, so I have a face. I have a name. But people were butthurt that I called out Mike Gill about, you know, basically coming out now saying how he is how he's involved in child trafficking, you know, stopping child trafficking and everything. I've been in this fight for years. I've been in this fight, you know, since the late 70s, all through the 80s, all through the 90s, into the 2000s. Articles, interviews that I did with newspapers and with TV people have all been shown, you know. You know, and that was only part of my story, and everybody was aware at that time. I said, you know, there are certain things that I'm willing to share, certain things that I'm not willing to share. Not willing to share yet because I wasn't ready to, you know. I don't owe an explanation to anybody on this planet, you know, about why I said something now, you know, whether it be talking about Suffolk Downs in Pennsylvania, and then another place in Syracuse, New York, or talking about the racetracks in Rockingham, New Hampshire, or the cabin in Pike, New Hampshire. You know, talking about, I mean, I could go through with going as far as, you know, basically telling you that, you know, when I got taken to Rockingham, I got put in with what they called the greens. Greens are new horses that haven't been fully trained yet. So they're rather, how would you put it, unstable yet. You know, they've had very little to no training. You know, the old clubhouse that was there. A woman from the historical society that loved her riding crop and talking about Broadway. And I'm not talking about, she wasn't talking about Broadway as in Broadway, New York. She was talking about Broadway, one of the areas of the Salem, New Hampshire, outside of the Rockingham racetrack. You know, she was associated with a crippled kids fund and stuff, and you know, this is what's crazy is that she was the only one that in out of the people that came at me there that actually didn't abuse me other than with her crop. And when I talk about a crop, I'm talking about a riding crop. And she was mad because their fundraiser didn't make more money. So she beat me more and beat me harder, you know. But it's you know, there were people from Canada, from Australia, from New Zealand, riders and owners, both, that were involved. There were people that were from and I could tell that they were super rich people that were from Naples, Italy. And I remember that because they kept saying, talking about their home, you know. And then another couple from Sweden and a United Kingdom hoity-toity. You know, some of them came right out of Salem, New Hampshire. Tallest man I'd ever seen in my life was during this time. I've seen taller since, but the tallest man at that time that I had ever seen was a professor. There were a lot of students, you know, college students, college-aged young men, and a guy that they called the professor. I'm not going to go into exactly what they had done, because that's, you know, that's all of that was given to the different police departments and state police and everything else, you know. But through, you know, you know, there's so many, you know, situations that we get into, and my comment wasn't to accuse Mike of being an assaulter. Okay, I want to make this clear. I never stated that Mike wasn't an assaulter, but the people that he used in order to become successful in that arena were some of the people who were abusers. And the thing is, you know, you want to talk about the money laundering. Okay, that's cool. It's, you know, it's those are things that people need to know about. They need to know about the corruption. Okay, drug running. People need to know about that stuff. But then all of a sudden, all this time later, now it's now I'm a warrior for child sex trafficking. And when it boils down to it, is where in the fuck were you when myself and 7 other kids came forward, in the 80s and the late 70s, about about what was going on. When you're in your 20s, uh, building your business and hanging out with the hoity-toities, you got to see things, you got to know things. So why is it now a a uh, a time to come forward? Okay, why is it now time to come forward and say, oh well, I'm fighting against child trafficking? you know, I've gone through 25, 26 YouTube channels. Never mind my original channels that are no longer available before the Mustard Seeds was created. You know, um, I've lost my Facebook and my personal account and my business account on Facebook. I lost multiple accounts on X for calling out Adam Schiff for what he did at the Chateau Marmont. Okay. And let me tell you, it was within 15 minutes of my post that my account was taken down. And that was before it became public knowledge to everybody. You know, and Chuck Schumer was another one that I called out as well. On my second account on Twitter, and boom, that one was gone. And it's crazy to see the hate that I've been getting in my notifications from people who follow Mike Gill. When listen, I never said that he was one of my assaulters. What I said was, his association, guilt by association, is a real thing. When you're in there drinking and partying and hoo-haing up with the same people who are doing things to kids, it's called guilt by association. Okay. Why is it now? Why is it now, after all these years that you've been 17 years, you've been talking about your Pandora Papers and everything else? Why was the child trafficking never, ever brought up then? 17 years you had. But this one particular lady kept flooding my feed on X in regards to everything about Gill. And I finally sent her a message and said, fuck that guy. I'm not going to listen to him. Where was he when all of us kids had come forward, told our stories, went to the state police, went to local police and everything, and nothing happened? But now all the shills that hang with Gill and with Miss Michelle Moore, okay, are attacking me, stating I'm not a victim. I do injustice to victims, because I'm not going to answer all their little itty bitty questions. Why should I answer your fucking questions? Who are you to even question me, saying I'm a bot? Some people were saying that I'm a bot. Guys, if I'm a bot, I'm a really good one. Okay? I'm a really good bot. I'm a fake account. I'm just somebody who's out to get Gil. I'm not out to get Gil. These guys with going on the big shows and everything and spewing all their stuff, they're showing their own true colors and exposing themselves. I don't need to go and do that for anybody. I don't. Hello, Michelle Clifford from the bot. You know, you know, but I don't know. I don't owe anybody an explanation. I don't know anybody an explanation. You know, and I muted her at that point. I didn't block her. I just muted her. I don't want to see her posts anymore. I see 15, 20 posts about the same person in a week. You know, unless it's something to do with new news coming out about Trump or new news about something going on in a congressional hearing or a Senate hearing or whatever, or a judiciary committee, something like that. You know, yes, those guys we play a lot. Okay. Conservative Ant, I play him. He does short, to the point videos. He's funny. He's got a great personality. And personally, I like him. I like the way that he approaches a lot of the topics, you know, that we're experiencing, that we're going through. Okay. My goal originally was to bring back all the truthers to YouTube and to Facebook that got kicked out because of the 2020 election. People that everybody followed before, that were disappeared because of the fact that they were speaking the truth. You know, whether it was Space Shot, and we know X22, Melissa Red Pill, all of them, all the way down the line. That was my goal, was to bring all of those back onto YouTube. Dave Snedeker, he's another one that we brought back onto YouTube. Lost quite a few channels because of him, but that's okay. That's all right. The real cost of losing that channel was, yes, we lost subscribers and we lost some people along the way, but in most cases, people have been finding us. Now, will we ever see the amount of people that were here in our first channels? Probably not, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I'm still doing what I have to do for awareness for child trafficking. Okay. And to bring you as much of the most updated news as we possibly can, that's been vetted and proven to be true. You know, and then I bring you a bunch of funny clips, you know, as well as bringing you people who are changing their lives because they're now waking up, and we're watching some of these people grow. Okay. Older millennial. I absolutely love the guy. It's not like that, but I absolutely love the guy because he comes out, he's hard hitting. He presents the facts. He shows the receipts, and then he shuts up. He doesn't drag it on and on and on and on and on. He just brings the receipts and boom, that's the end of it, you know? And you know, so, you know, go ahead, keep flooding my X notifications with all your hate and everything else. I don't have to prove anything to you, but now you've heard another part of my story. If you don't like it, fuck off. If obviously you're really not into it about doing everything you can for the kids, because exposing those who were involved from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, exposing all of them is what gives everybody the opportunity to learn as much as necessary in order for us to combat child trafficking in its reality. Making people more and more aware of the circumstances and situations that children are placed in whether it's through the Department of Children and Youth Services, CPS, okay, or even our own federal government. And let me tell you, when the state police get a call from the governor's office stating, drop your investigation into so-and-so, then you know that the corruption has been more than just money, more than just drugs, more than just arms, more than just body parts. It's about the removal of children to satisfy and satiate the perversions that not only rich people and religious people and governmental people are getting their kicks from. We all need to work together. I've said that before. Both sides, all sides need to come together as one so that we can move forward. But the thing is it is impossible to move forward if we do not eliminate the evil now. People are distracting us with other scripts. Okay, and I'm not talking about script keeper. I'm saying scripts, as in like an actor is given a script, right, as to what they can talk about, what they can't talk about, and how to word it and everything else. I got no fucking script. I have no script. I could tell you stories about the children's ward at Utah State Hospital in Provo that would turn your stomach so much that you'd probably end up stop watching my podcast for a while. I could tell you about the teen unit at said same hospital in Provo, Utah, that would tear you to shreds. I could tell you more than just what the Catholic Church did, but we could go into what the Mormon Church did and many others as well. But hey, I don't know nothing. I'm just a bot. Nano, shots back. I'm just a bot. I'm just somebody out here spewing hate. That's all I'm about. I'm just out here, spewing hate. I don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I lived. And I knew what I was going to do to change it. When I joined the Marine Corps, I didn't join the Marine Corps to become some super soldier or anything there. I went to learn how to kill. Because I was going to hunt down every single person that harmed me. You know what's crazy too is that I got word. Okay, one of my brothers was working for a guy who owned an adult bookstore, a big chain in New England. He was working as his general manager, and I found out that he was involved with horse racing and everything, and he would go up to New Hampshire and to other places with his racehorse. So I had leave time. I was out on leave, and I went and I took a part-time job at his store in Hartford, Connecticut. And he came in one day and he says, he introduced himself to me, and we talked for a bit, and he found out that I was home on leave, and he was like, "Oh man," he says, "and you're working, you're on leave." I says, "Yeah." I says, "But it's just making some extra money." He says, "Well, how'd you like to drive my limo?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He says, "Why don't you be my bodyguard and drive my limo when I go to the races?" And I said to myself, "All right, there's my in. I can get up there to Rockingham. I can find some of these bastards. I can find them. Most of them, I didn't see their faces, but I heard their voices and the names, talking between each other. They would refer to each other by name, and, and I was like, this could be a perfect opportunity, perfect, absolute opportunity. So that next week, I got behind the wheel of his limo and I drove him up to Rockingham, New Hampshire. And it's at first I thought I was gonna, kind of be stuck at the limo. He's like, "No," he says, "You're my bodyguard." He said, "You get to go with me everywhere." So now the clubhouse was different than what I had remembered. It was a lot different than what I had remembered. But standing at the winner's circle with him and his horse, okay, when he won his race that day, the jockey was out there, and Dan was there, myself, and a lady friend of Dan's out of Boston, who we ended up driving home afterwards, was there. And I looked across the end of the track where the stables were, and I pointed to him and I says, "That's where they keep the greens." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "That's where they keep the new horses." He says, "Yeah, how do you know that?" And so I told him. I told him why I was there. He's like, "Are you sure that any of those people are still alive?" I said, "I don't know, but I'd like to find out." It's when I started telling him the names of people who were not directly involved, but had actually walked through that uh, where the greens were while I was being abused, yeah, I know their names. I remember their names clear as a bell. Some things you never ever forget. There was one person that ended up before that day was over that I saw, that I recognized right off the bat. I went pale as a ghost. Danny looked at me and he said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, he says, I said, I just heard a voice, and then recognized the voice right off. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. The hair on my arms was standing up. And I turned around and looked at the entry to the clubhouse of the individual walking into the clubhouse. And I was like, and I wished I had had a gun. In that moment, I wished I had had a gun. So Dan says, "All right, well, we're all done here. So let's go ahead and get out of here." He says, "I'm going to collect my winnings and I'll meet you at the car." So I went back out to the car. I escorted the lady that was with Danny at that time to the car, put her in the back of the limo, made sure that she had everything she needed, made her a drink, and stood by the door, waited for Danny to come out. When Danny came out, I walked up the steps halfway to meet him, and then walked him down to the limo and opened the door and put him in, and then walked around the car and got in the driver's door. And we started our drive over to Boston, Massachusetts, and he said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I'm okay." And he says, "Listen," he says, "I know you're scheduled for the next couple of days." He says, "Why don't you take a couple of days off?" And at that time, you know, during those couple of days off, I went and I talked with an old worker that I used to see after my story first came out. You know, a guy by the name of Frank Vincent. He worked with United Way as a counselor, and you know, I went and met with him, and we talked about it and everything. And I realized in that moment that the reason that I didn't have a gun was because I had already found a new family, you know, and that was, to me, that was the Marine Corps. That was my family. That was my new family. You know, but I told him the thoughts that went through my head and everything. And that was when he said to me, and I've said this to you guys too, is that a victim has basically two choices. Either you become what has harmed you, thus harming others, or you become a warrior and stand up against it. Those are really the only two choices. There's always that silent in the middle of people that are afraid to talk about things and everything else. But generally, by harboring and not talking about it, you open yourself up to become an abuser. You open yourself right up to it by talking about it and letting it out and everything else. You are unloading it. You know, it's like, you know, taking and, you know, unpacking a suitcase, you know, it's you go to a hotel and generally you'll take your socks, your underwear and stuff, stick them in the drawer if you're going to be there for a few days. Me, I just prefer to leave it right there in the suitcase. You know, I had to get into a habit of taking things out of the suitcase, you know, to become more comfortable for a longer stay at a hotel, but never really kicked into that. Yeah, Tony, you're right. You can either become consumed by hate or overcome with love. The choice is yours if you accept it. Yep. Yeah. This message will blow up in 10 seconds. I was just thinking, I don't know why Mission Impossible just clicked in my head when I read that. The choice is yours if you accept it. Yeah. But it's awkward to me that that people who are basically just followers of a particular podcaster that just go and trash anybody who says anything counterproductive to what that individual is attempting to do now. But the thing is that if you don't call people out for what they didn't do before, then, you know, then the conversation can't be had. You know, would I ever talk with him? No, I wouldn't waste my fucking time with Mike Gill. Wouldn't waste my time. I believe that everything that he's got belongs to somebody else. And that he was just trying to utilize it in order to make bank off of it. I think that that he got himself into some deep shit with those people, and that's why he lost all his money. That's those are my personal opinions. You know, Michelle Moore, I've seen her bring people on her podcast that turned out to be liars and everything else, and she just keeps bringing different people on, and you know, and that's not exposing the truth to me. You know, that's sure you might mix 80% truth in there, but you got 20% bullshit, then it basically doesn't. It doesn't make for a sound thing to pay attention to. So I don't watch her. I don't watch her. You know, I've had a couple of different people tell me, "Oh, you should watch this one. You should watch this one. You should watch this one." No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't. I disagree with how they do things and how they talk about things, and how nobody's allowed to question anything. You know, when you're talking about our government, you're talking about our president, you're talking about our soon to be next president. Then yeah, those are things that are questioned. But when it comes to somebody's personal life, you got no fucking right to get into their business. What they share with you, they share with you, and if just because you don't get more, you're upset. You're upset because you didn't get more. Well, fuck you and you'll get more. That's what I say. Or as the old English would say, is pluck you. All right. Okay, let's get into some stuff. You guys ready to get into some stuff? I'm ready to get into some stuff. I think I already covered. Yeah, I already covered that one. Okay, so this video is currently going viral for interviewing an average Kamala voter. All right, well, let's see what Tony has put together here. Here we go.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala. I like her, and I'm a Democrat.
And why do you like her?
Because she will be a good female president, and I would love to have a good female president for the U.S.
And what do you think she'll do good for our country?
She'll actually help our country more than Donald Trump would do, because she is smart and she's more reliable.
And what do you think are some exact things she'd do?
She'll do lower income and lower taxes.
So she'd lower everyone's income?
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
That is a good thing.
What do you think about Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is the worst president in the whole wide world.
How come?
Because he hurt the Capitol building and he started World War III.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala.
There are some people that we're not going to be able to help, folks. Okay. That right there is part of your 4 to 6% lost forever. I'm serious. You know, that right there is part of your 4 to 6% loss. People just like that. You know, and it is a shame. Okay. It is a real shame to understand that people have been gaslit and gaslighting. What does gaslighting mean? They're fucking lying to you. That's what gaslighting is. They just spin it eloquently. That's all they do. They spin it eloquently. They're gaslighting you. Okay? And gaslighting wasn't even a real word. It was a term that was put out there to get people to look and see what exactly is gaslighting. And when you looked up gaslighting, there was no meaning for it, you know. And so it was a deception to teach you that it was a deception. It was a lie. Our media has been, quote unquote, gaslighting us for years. They've been lying to us for years. Our government has been gaslighting us, have been lying to us for years. They put these fancy words in there thinking that, well, because it's a bigger word than lie, people aren't going to come after us for that. We can gaslight them all the time. What they're saying is they're going to lie to you all the time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. All right. Carly Bonet says this is epic. MAGA trolling Biden in California. Here we go.
Lady and the rest of his family in California this week, just days after he passed the torch as a candidate to his vice president at the DNC in Chicago. Matt Finn is live in Buellton, California with more. Matt, to you.
Hi, Molly. The president is staying not far from where I am standing in Santa Ynez, California. He's staying at the luxurious estate of donor Joe Kiani. Now, happening right now, there is a pro-Trump rally here, hundreds of pro-Trump supporters, and they say they're about to drive by the house where the president is staying right now. This is a relatively quiet area, so a large caravan is going to be very noticeable if it drives by the house where the president is staying. We'll keep you updated on that. I talked to some of these Trump supporters here, and they tell us why they are here today.
Support Trump and tell Biden and his wife and his son stay away.
And we don't want Democrat policies brought into this valley that has ranchers and farmers and hardworking blue-collar people who have been so hurt by his policies.
President Biden has not been seen out in public since arriving here to Southern California early Tuesday morning. The president, First Lady, and Hunter Biden and family jetted to California right after the DNC. The First Lady has been seen around town a few times. We captured her yesterday out and about in the town of Los Olivos. Hunter Biden was with her, but he ducked out of view pretty quickly. I talked with some Biden supporters here in the Santa Ynez area.
His infrastructure plan was great. He's a decent human being. I think he did a great job.
What he did with just passing by to Kamala, I think is very good. I think it's very good for the country.
Now, as the president has been on vacation, the administration announced that he had a call with the leading emir of Qatar about a ceasefire in Gaza. Also, the U.S. military announced that it carried out a strike, killing an al-Qaeda leader in Syria.
Yeah. Some people are lost. All right. So, remember that news article that I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago in regards to people claiming that RFK ate a dog? Yeah, well.
You know what I'm doing? I'm making steak and chicken for the dogs. I don't normally do this. But ever since that guy wrote the article about me saying I ate a dog, it hasn't been the same. Now I gotta work my way back into their good grace. This was my dinner. I'm giving him my food. This is the height of irresponsible journalism. I mean, I don't care what it does for me, but look at these guys. These guys don't believe in anything they hear on the news. Yeah, Daddy would never do something like that. He was a goat. St. Francis loved the animals. I love you guys. I would never eat a dog. It was fake news. It was fake news. St. Francis with a wolf of Gubia. This is one of their favorite books. It really calms them down.
I think we're going to learn about RFK more and more, but I've had people say, well, he went to Epstein Island and everything else. Well, I don't know that. We haven't seen the list yet. I think that the Kennedys are going to be used in a way. I think they're going to be used in God's way. Absolutely God's way. All right. Bambi and Thumper in real life. It is kind of cute, isn't it? Yeah. Nature just being nature, animals being animals without having to be pushed into it by humans. Yeah. Adorable. Absolutely adorable. All right. Moving on. All right, shutting down freedom of speech right before our eyes, says Wall Street Babes. This is our future here in America if Kamala Harris gets elected. Police back the tyrants, destroying countries by flooding them with illegal immigrants, over their tax-paying citizens. Very scary time.
Should be ashamed yourselves. Gas fucking park. Someone like me, I have a love and a loyalty to this country. I wanted to join the Guard. I had that motivation in me. I wanted to join the army. I had that motivation in me to protect and serve. No! The batterings will continue until the plantation is complete. We've already done it once before. The British Empire, 800 years we stood up against them in defiance. Forced plantation, genocided from our own villages, scattered to the four corners of the earth. Should be a
yeah. It's is it gonna come to that here? All right, Julie Donuts says future. I might have played this one the other day as an ending, but I'm not sure. But let's go ahead and listen again.
Okay, so let's talk about last night. What an amazing event that was. That was so powerful. I've never really been an RFK fan, but I do highly respect the public work he's done in regards to our food, medicine, and air and water and the poisons and stuff. So I do respect that part about him. There's some things I don't agree with him on at all. Would I want him to be president? No. However, that merger last night was amazing. It put the deep states, globalist people, demons, they're terrified. They should be. But I'm going to tell you a few things that are going to come with this Trump presidency once he's finally back publicly in office. We're going to see publicly on the record who actually killed JFK. We're going to see that. We're also going to see the beginning of the end of Big Pharma, I believe, with RFK leading that charge, and he's the perfect guy to do that. He's going to expose all of it, especially the stuff about the children and that whole schedule thing that I won't get into right now, but you know what I'm saying. We're also going to see in black and white, legally, publicly, who the people were behind the rigged and stolen 2020 election. We're going to see that. And of course, it will be overturned. You will see that. We're also going to see the people who were complicit and organized and carried out 9/11. You're going to see that. That's going to be in the future, but we will also see that. We're also going to see new gold-backed money. America's dollar will still be super strong. Anyone going against the dollar is misinformed. We will have gold-backed currency, new money, and we will see the end of the Federal Reserve publicly and the end of the IRS. Those two will go away. They are evil and slavery and demonic. So that you're going to see as well. We're also going to see constitutional law, no more maritime law, garbage, constitutional law as it was always written and intended. So all the licenses and mandates and regulations that were put in place illegally, usurping the Constitution, you're going to see that gone as well. You're going to see slow turnaround of clean air, clean food, clean water. This stuff does take time. It took a long time to slowly get us here. That part of it will be undone. That will take time, although I think it's going to be faster than we think. That's going to be amazing. That's coming. And one of the biggest things that we're going to see, and this is going to shock so many people, if you don't know this already, we're going to see and find out the massive, evil, disgusting child sex trafficking industry that was global and that the millions of people were involved in. And people are going to understand what they did to our children. That will be exposed. So, with all of that said, that's a glimpse of what's coming. And it is amazing and it's so exciting. However, this cabal is petrified and panicking, and they should be. They're going to pull out every single thing that they have, and it is not going to be pretty. So please, please be prepared and get with Christ, because this whole war is about their hatred of him. So be in prayer, give praise and thanksgiving to Jesus right now. That's what this whole thing is about, okay? I can't express that enough. It's going to get really, really bad. But we win. So hang in there, guys. Have a great day.
She's always got positive messages, you know. She drops a little doom and gloom on it, but, you know, just, you know, in the sense of the spiritual war that's going on, you know. But she just reminds us, you know, that, you know, our connection to Christ is vital. You know, our relationship with God is vital. It's important. You know, these are things that keep us connected. These are things that, you know, that allow us to help heal our friends and family and stuff when we pray. You know, belief has got to be a strong one, you know. All right, listen to this RFK supporter explain why he's going to support Donald Trump. Here we go.
Up until today, I was planning on voting for RFK Jr. The reason I was planning on voting for him is because I felt like he did the best at laying out his positions, and I felt that he had the best disposition. Instead of just slinging insults and acting like a third grader, he actually said, I'm not going to engage in vitriol. I'm going to show respect to both sides. I want to bring unity to the country. And then he would go on to talk about his policies, which involve things like trying to get the cost of living down, to be able to afford a home, to attack certain entities such as BlackRock and Vanguard and these people that want us to own nothing and be happy. And somebody's actually talking about these things, about actually looking at vetting, better vetting vaccines and helping us be healthier. And so he's just talking about a lot of things that I feel like are real life issues that are just completely ignored and not spoken about. And, but I was conflicted because, you know, I don't agree with RFK Jr. on everything. But there's a lot of things that Trump's doing as well, also fighting corruption. He doesn't articulate his position as well, and he will engage in vitriol. But sometimes that's necessary, I understand, because they come at you from the other side with both guns blazing. But I feel like, and y'all are going to think I'm crazy for this, maybe, but I feel like God's giving us one last opportunity here in the United States of America. We've done everything in our power to bring God's disapproval and God's judgment upon this nation. We murder babies. You can call it whatever you want to call it. And by the way, that's the biggest running point for old Kamala Harris over there, you know, you know, we'll do everything we can to help you murder your baby. And then once they are born, you know, whatever you define it, wokeness or woker or wokist, you just need to be more woke. What do we mean by more woke? You know, do we need more men in the women's restrooms? Do we need more tampons in the men's restroom? Do we need more confusion? Do we need more puberty blockers? Do we need to be having life-altering and life-changing surgeries for children without the consent of their parents? Is that what we mean by being more woke? Just we've lost our mind. We've gone crazy. I remember reading through the Bible for the first time and reading the book of Judges, and just it surprised me the craziness that was there. That one woman, one story, there's a bunch of crazy stories, but one story in the book of Judges in the Bible, they cut a woman up in 12 pieces and send a portion of her body to all 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and just all this craziness. And you're like, what is God trying to get across here? And there was a statement that was made over and over again in that passage, in that book. And it said, there was no king in those days in the land of Israel, and every man did that which was right in his own eyes. When there's no authority, when there's no person with a righteous cause in authority, then people do whatever's right in their own minds. And that's what you see in the United States of America right now, is we have no leadership and everyone's doing that which is right in their own mind. Now, I understand that Trump You say, well, he's not exactly Mr. Morality. I understand that. Neither was David. You understand King David, a man after God's own heart. He had multiple wives. He had blood on his hands. Was involved in a lot of wars. There's a lot of things. He committed adultery and sent the husband of the woman that he committed adultery with to the front lines to make sure he got killed. He did a lot of evil things, and God judged him for those things. So we see this consistently throughout history, that people that make it to these levels of leadership, they can be responsible for a lot of immoral things as well. And God will judge them for that. But God can also use people like that. And when that bullet missed Trump's ear, and I've been one of the biggest critics of Trump, when that bullet missed him, and I was still conflicted then, I was like, I don't know. I just feel that God has RFK Jr. here for such a time as this. And I've been saying this, and he's a lifelong Democrat. And if he had ran Democrat, I would have considered voting for him. And I've never considered voting Democrat in my life. But I just listened to him with an honest heart and thought, this man is sincere. He has a love for this country, and he clearly sees the corruption, even to a greater extent than most of us. And it's obvious to anybody that's looking. And he wants to root out this corruption and right the ship. And I could see that in earnest in his heart. But I feel like Trump is the same way. And I feel like we have a different Trump now since he survived that assassination attempt. And I feel like God has put this team together. And it couldn't be more evident to me which is the side of righteousness and which is the side of evil. I mean, the other side mocks God's institution of marriage, mocks God's institution even of his design of male and female, they hate our country. I mean, it's people joke about it, but if you see an American flag waving on the front porch of someone, 90% chance that's going to be a Republican. That's not coming from a Democrat. By the way, it's the Republican Party that is not anti-Semitic. There, I said it. From the river to the sea, you might as well wear a swastika if you're going to say that. The Bible still says that if you bless Abraham and bless his seed, then your nation will be blessed. You call me a Zionist or whatever you want to call me, but I will proudly say God bless America and God bless the nation of Israel. And I believe God has given us a chance here to right the ship because our country is on the wrong path. I'm praying for America. If Kamala Harris and Tim Walz become president of the United States, president and vice president, I will do my duty as the Bible tells us and pray for those in leadership. But I believe we'll be headed for disaster if that takes place.
Yeah. And this is the thing is we need to listen to people's, opinions and such, it's not so much as that, everybody's got the right to speak because that is true. That's what our Second Amendment or our First Amendment is for. And the Second Amendment is to protect that right of the first, it's more on the lines that, we can get a clear picture as to what sparked these individual changes in people. And those are the things that we look for with our friends or our neighbors to see if they're changing, if they're seeing what we've been seeing. Half of my neighbors are awake now. Half of them are not. The ones that are not are generally the older ones that, basically maybe turn their TV on once a week. They're farmers. From the crack of dawn, they're up taking care of their animals and taking care of their crops, taking care of their land, taking care of their structures, whether it be pole barns or actual barns or, whatever. I got one neighbor here that there is not a day that I do not see a large amount of activity on his farm. He's growing and growing and growing. Now he's not growing plants per se, but he's growing buildings. He's building over there. He's setting himself up for success. Now he's in his late 30s. His dad just passed away not too long ago. I would say probably like 2 years ago. I think his father passed. And since then, there's not been a day that I have not seen him building his place up. But one thing that we do have when we're standing at the fence and having a conversation is that he does see what is going on in the political spectrum. He says, I keep my radio on all the time, and he says, and I do catch the news periodically. He says, but he says everything is so sensationalized. It's ridiculous. He doesn't find any comfort in the news whatsoever. And he knows that they're lying to us about so much. And he'll bring up points to me that I've known for a few years. And I say, yeah, you're right. You're right. That's really happening. And just the other day he had said to me, so I got this machine up here. It's called a bush hog. It's kind of like a giant weed whacker with wheels. You push it in and it just starts chopping things up. So you can make paths with it. You can clear whole areas, and that's how I cleared that acre and a half that I got done. But I was up in one section along the fence that I needed to do a fence repair, so I had to get that stuff cut back. And so I took that out there, and then he says to me, he says, they tried to kill your guy. And I said to him, yeah, they did. He says, I think the government is trying to do to him what they did to JFK. And I knew right then that he was awake. I knew right then, because he said. I sent him an email with a bunch of clips in it, and he says, I'm going to watch that stuff that you sent me. And then a couple of days later, I ran into him again. I was actually driving a couple of fence posts in the ground, and we got this tube thing with a couple of handles on it. It's got a big weighted center so you're not necessarily digging post holes, you're driving them in the ground. And so I was out there doing that and getting a couple of those set. And he says to me, he says, I listened to that secret society speech of John F. Kennedy. He says, I would have to say 30 times yesterday. And I played it for my buddies who were here working with me. And he said they had no idea about that speech, and that there was actually a president who stood up in front of everybody and said that secret societies secretly run the world, and he said, he said, how do you find that stuff? And I said, well, just a little bit of research does that, and I told him, I said, you get a topic and you go into your search. I said, don't use Google. I said, DuckDuckGo is reliable, but not fully reliable. And then I gave him the one for Yandex that really is a phenomenal search engine. And he saw that it was people from outside of our country who were releasing news and links to different major articles like that. And he started using that search, and he was getting answers. The Ivor, you know what I mean? The Ivor, because he has horses. And he says, so you're telling me that if I gave that to my dad, that he'd still be here now? So, well, there's a very good possibility of that, Yandex. I think it's spelled Yandex. Yeah, we talked about it in chat a few days ago. And on that note, Catherine, I did not forget. Catherine, I did not forget your question at the beginning. So when we were talking about buildings the other day, I said, that. So if you go to Catherine, hopefully you're with me at this moment. I hope you're here. Okay. What you want to look at is if you go to all departments on Amazon and type in either houses or tiny houses. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to add an S to that because it'll change the filter. And you'll notice that different things come up. And this is where you find these. And so this is one of those types of homes. They're quick, they're easy, they're easy to assemble. This is some of the interior of them and stuff. And this shows you how they open up. This is what it looks like. And then you got your floor installation, and then you got your roof. It just basically unfolds. Walls pop up, and then the other pieces get pushed out and fill it in to make it look like a finished house. They're actually really cool. It's they have all different types available. I was looking for one that actually had a video of how they open up. But most of them, some of them will have a link to how easy it is to put them up. It's basically you're unfolding it, and as you're unfolding it, you're pushing until something clicks and the things are locked in place. But they're completely weatherized, pre-weatherized. You can put a stove or something like that in it. But most of them are, they're so quick and so easy. I really wish I could find one with a dang video on it, because it is really cool how these guys actually. Let me go here. Let's see, and type in. It's from, I think that's how. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this just gives you this is just to give you an idea. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you get it. That's what it looks like folded up if you open up the end, and this is how they get put together. Let me kill the volume on this because we don't need the volume. But it comes with everything necessary, all the tools and everything in order to do it. And you'll see the walls just go up and they snap into place, and then the other ones fold out and they snap into place. And you got a bathroom in it. Some of them can come with cabinets that you either have to install later on yourself, but it's basically, it's like a 20 by 20 or 20 by 40 house, and it's you just have to have a level spot to put it. And the thing is you can fold it back up and take it with you if you move to another location. I think the only thing would be is like if you were to say, for instance, say I got one of those and I put a wood stove in it. Okay. I would have to do the wood stove in an area that if I was to fold it up, that the wood stove would not be a hindrance to folding it up and moving it again. Maybe even pull the stove completely out and the pipe for the chimney, pull that out, and but then fold it up, cover the top, because you definitely don't want any harm coming to where your wood stove pipe was going through. Move it to the new location, set it back up, put your wood stove back in, and boom, or pellet stove or whatever, I think they're absolutely interesting. Great concept, easy to, easy and affordable, for a single person, I would end up, basically, if I had one of those, I would set it up right over on a pad that I had another building sitting on a couple of years ago. I'd set that up there and then turn this building here into just a puppy commune, puppy convent, and go in and close the door and actually get some sleep without dogs crawling all over. The worst thing about having as many dogs as I have is half of them wake up very, very early in the morning, and they got their own door. They got a dog door, so they can go out and they can run the 30 acres, no problem. Is when they come back in soaking wet and they jump on the bed to see if I'm awake, and the bed is soaking wet and everything. And it's like, I want a bedroom where I can close the door. That's so bad. You have no idea. But I mean, the way you can deck these things out is just, it's amazing. And they have gazebo types as well too, smaller ones. There was at one point that I was going to actually move. I was actually going to move into one of my greenhouses, is what I was going to do. At the same time, I was also thinking about having this building drug up on top of the hill because of the flooding that goes on down here, and put a greenhouse up over the top of this building and have 40 feet of this fake grass that I got from the football field, because they change it out every few years. So the guy who goes in and removes the old turf, he always calls me up and asks me if I want any of the pieces that he's got. And he'll charge me a couple $100 for delivery and unrolling them. He's got this pole that's on this kind of like a forklift, but it's kind of weird. It's got 3 wheels, and it's just got the seat there and these, and these couple of handles and stuff that levers that he uses. But he's able to point the pole sideways from his vehicle, have that roll of the turf, and he'll just start driving until it all comes unrolled, and so it makes it easier. And then he's got a claw like thing. It's like the Jaws of Life. You guys have seen the Jaws of Life before, where he'll grab onto the end of the turf and he can drag it with his little machine. Can't do it by hand. You absolutely cannot drag it by hand unless you cut it in like 10-foot sections, and drag it by hand until it's next to the last strip that he laid out and stuff. It's pretty cool, so that the dogs would have a dry running area, and maybe would come in and wake me up dry. But it's So, but that's what you do. You just go on to Amazon, type in houses or tiny houses, and they come up. And some of the prefabs, I mean, this is a 2-story prefab. Trying to figure out how they ship that. That's, this one right here. Beautiful looking little house, but it's like you got a piece of land, and, instead of buying $25,000 worth of material and paying $300,000 in building costs and everything else, you just get yourself a little prefab to last you while you build your own home. Bill Schultz says, I need one of those for the kids' Legos. Well, that's the thing, is you can get them in different assorted sizes, to have a kid's playhouse. That's 20 by 40 for a kid's playhouse. That's a lot of space for kids to play in, you know. It's like, yeah. Well, let's get back to this. Probable Spam says, I like that. Probable Spam. Keep this handy for the moment that Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters complain about Trump using their song, There Goes My Hero, because you know they will. And we're going to actually cover this today because I got a few posts about it. But listen to this. And I want you guys to remember this when I'm playing the other ones. Here we go.
I think that the thing about
Dave Grohl with Dennis Miller, by the way.
Music is that music should be available to anybody that wants to hear it. I think that there should be no such thing as a price tag on music. Okay, maybe there's a price tag on the package that you buy. You know, you pay $13 for a CD, you get the artwork, you get the jewel box, you get the friggin' sticker, you get the whole nine, whatever. But I don't want to turn on my fucking radio and have to put a nickel in it to hear Metallica.
I'm a street light shining. I'm a wild light, blind and bright, burning off and on.
So they're going after Dilly, the Dilly team, the Dilly meme team. They took a version of Alanis Morissette's Ironic. Isn't it ironic? You know, and they put it into a montage that they put together one day, and Alanis got pissed off. You know, I look at it like this. If you put your music up online, if you put it on the internet, or your team puts it on the internet, it's fair game. It's fair game. You put it on the internet. If you didn't want people to share it or people to hear it, then you wouldn't have put it on the flipping internet. I mean, seriously, think about it. You're concerned about copyrights when you're putting your content out there and saying that, oh my God, you shared my content. How dare you? Aren't you defeating the purpose of people becoming fans because of music? Okay, think about this. When we were doing the pray-a-thon, 72-hour pray-a-thons, okay, during the COVID crisis, okay, and we're not joking, okay, for those of you that are newcomers, we did 72-hour pray-a-thons. We would start on Friday night at 5 o'clock, and we would go until Monday at 5 o'clock. Yes, we covered the news. We covered, different things on, on BitChute that were available to us, talking about different things. We read the Bible from cover to cover multiple times over the year and a half that we did the long pray-a-thons, and then we had to cut it back because I was getting burnt out and getting sick because of constantly doing it, and I had help, but it was still taxing, because even though you have help, there are times that you have to be paying attention because people get mean, they get disrespectful and stuff like that, and you got to weed those people out of your crowds and everything else, and we've seen a lot of people come to Christ because of what they were going through, they needed something to focus on, and they realized that the news wasn't what they should be focusing on, but God was what we needed to be focused on. Christ is what we needed to be focused on, and it made a difference, you know. And back then, we started playing things like Big Daddy Weave, you know, I Am Redeemed, you know, one of my absolute favorite Christian songs, you know. We found a band. I don't remember what the name of the band is now off the top of my head, but because of a dream that I had, I found this particular band, and first couple of times I played their song and any of their songs, I didn't get a copyright. And then all of a sudden I started getting copyright after copyright after copyright. Now, you know, we weren't playing their music for any monetary gain or anything like that. We were just taking our worship time and adding hymns to it, you know, adding Christian songs to it. But you know, it was, you know, we've been fighting the devil at the same time that we're fighting YouTube, and we're fighting Facebook, and we're fighting DMCA and everything else, you know. But protected content, you know, sorry, but if you're putting it up online, it's no longer protected. You put it out there. So if you don't want anybody using your stuff, then don't put it out there. But let's finish. Here we go.
I don't want to have to pay to hear music. Like, I mean, and you know what? I understand where some people come from when they say Napster is taking money away from me. Napster is hurting my lifestyle, or Napster is, I don't have food in my refrigerator because Napster's got my song all over the internet. No one will buy my demo tape. But you know what? When it's someone that sold 50 million records and they got 50 million fucking dollars and they're bitching about pennies, fuck you, man. You know what?
Think about what he just said. You know, it's one thing if it's a demo, okay, but it's another thing when you sold 50 million records, you got $50 million, and you're screaming about pennies. Screaming about pennies.
When it's someone that sold 50 million records and they got 50 million fucking dollars and they're bitching about pennies, fuck you, man.
Yeah. I remember that interview too, you know, and we're going to go more into that. Yeah, Parkside, I agree. Napster was pretty cool. That's how I got my first, what do you call it? Well, my first portable music thing was a record player and a stack of 45 records. My second one was a radio that had an 8-track player on it. My third one was a Walkman. No, actually, my third one was a boombox, and then a Walkman, and then an iPod. I had one of the first iPods. Because it's like no matter what I've done in my life, I've always had music through all of that. Always had music through all of that, you know. Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. Yeah. All right. So this kid's got some questions. You know, this viral video showing the sudden cleanup of LA homeless garners hundreds of responses from angry LA locals. People are fed up. Comment replies. Here we go.
Wait, wasn't there a whole bunch of tents over here? No, I swear there was a whole bunch of homeless tents here. No, I swear there was like all this was tents. Oh, so now that the Olympics come, you guys clean it all up. So you guys put all these pillars here to prevent people from staying here. But people have to go somewhere. I mean, I feel a little bit safer, but where's everyone at? It's a little too clean. What? Is there like a shelter or something? Wait, wasn't there a whole bunch of tents over here?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's you know, people recognizing the difference now that things are getting into a different type of thing here. So, Script Keeper says, "Oops, geofencing tracking location. They raised 40,000, never did nothing with that money, but paid for God knows what." Here we go.
Refused to do it. You need to not take lightly what was done to me by him. All right? He works for the FBI. He is working for the Washington, D.C. FBI, and I will show you his exact location in Fredericksville, Maryland, down to his protected witness place where he lives. It's a halfway house for protected witnesses and criminal informants. It's got to be taken and politicized and weaponized. Everyone was in. We got him over $40,000 in money. People were so excited. People were really good. And the fucker sat there and delayed, "Mike, when are you going down to scan into a PDF?" We gave him instructions. He sent me pictures which had his GPS tracking location, so I could see when he went and saw Flynn in 2018 in in Florida and all the rest. And I said, "Dude, when you send me this stuff, it's actually got all your tracking data in it." I could see he was in Fredericksburg, Maryland at his exact location. I said, "You need to switch that off in your Apple." That's how they got John McAfee. So no worries. And thank you to the person who pointed that out, because I don't use that stuff, so I don't know anything about it.
Hey, Auntie, if you're listening, look up that. Hang on, let me do this real quick. But exposure. I think that the name of the song was, one of the songs was "Holy Water." We the Kingdom was the name of the band that got me into trouble. That's it. And the song that they got me for wasn't Holy Water. It was, hang on. Here, let's go to their full list. Which one was it? We the Kingdom videos. Here we go. Where is it? Yeah, We the Kingdom. That was the name of it. Yeah. That's the Christmas one. It's not, I know it was before the Holy Water album. So, I'd have to I almost think I might have to pull out my journal to find the particular song that they got me for, that took down my Facebook for a while. Because it was the song that found it was the song in particularly that let's see, does that take me to, oh, it does take me to another list. Okay, goes to show you I haven't been using Facebook for pretty much nothing for lately, for finding stuff. Oh, come on. Yeah, see, dang nabbit. There's one about cages that had a big impact on our crowd at that time. Dang nabbit. I hate it when I can't. This one here, this is a powerful song. If you guys have never heard Holy Water before, let me see. we get the link for that. Incredible song. This girl, Tasha Cobbs, is incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. Her voice is like, oh, yeah. I mean, I can't even express. Can't even express how it's weird that that the one song that I'm thinking of, there's the Don't Tread on Me. That was another good one. I'll be damned. This is this is definitely, wow. YouTube has changed so much in how you could find things. Just crazy. But anyways, let's get off that. So yeah, so that guy got taken for some money, $40,000. Wow. All right. MJ Truth Ultra, the owner of Telegram, Pavel Durov, has been arrested. The FBI tried to secretly infiltrate Telegram to give themselves backdoor access to users' private data. So I've been trying to tell people, you guys got to really be careful with Telegram. And it's one of the reasons that I don't spend a whole lot of time there or post a whole lot there.
But you know, there's this second part, which was probably more alarming there in the US. We got too much attention from the FBI, the security agencies, wherever we came to the US. So to give you an example, last time I was in the US, I brought an engineer that is working for Telegram, and there was an attempt to secretly hire my engineer behind my back by cybersecurity officers or agents, whatever they are called.
The U.S. government should hire your engineer?
That's my understanding. That's what he told me.
To write code for them or to break into Telegram?
They were curious to learn which open source libraries are integrated to the Telegram's app, on the client side, and they were trying to persuade him to use certain open source tools that he would then integrate into the Telegram's code that, in my understanding, would serve as backdoors.
Would allow the U.S. government to spy on people who use Telegram.
The U.S. government, or maybe any other government, because a backdoor is a backdoor, regardless of who is using it.
That's right.
Wow. And because he wouldn't give it to them, they decided that they're going to try and take it. Yeah. I think I did play this one the other day, but I'll play it again. Katie Hopkins got a couple of hers for you guys today. This is our Ukraine's or Great Britain's, the UK's batshit bonkers Britain lady, and she is funny. Here we go.
And the legal letter I got back, which it says clearly on it, I'm not allowed to share, I'm not allowed to publicize, I'm not allowed to, I'm looking for the bit where it says not for publication, so I could show it to you. Yeah, not for publication. The letter we got back is one of the harshest things I've read, and believe me, I've read a lot of things. But in summary, it sort of says, and I will publish this at a certain point. In summary, it says, the church has deeper pockets than you know. Basically, we have unlimited funds to fight you. The next bit gets more nasty. And it essentially, the summation that I've checked with the barrister, the summation is, the law is not with you. The establishment is not with you. The law's not on your side. Look at all the people who've been locked up recently. That's what it points to. And then this is the bit that's done this to me from the letter. So I said, look, even if you are going to cancel, could you make some payment so that I can refund people? Everybody's tickets, of course, will be refunded, and the booking fees and everything. So, the whole thing's just a loss, and that's fine. You know what, money and me, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm unburdened every day. But I wanted to make a little fund. So if you booked a hotel or you'd booked a train, I would be able to I would be able to refund that. And I listed out, so, sales damage, future sales damage, customer costs, customer travel costs. And they came back with, for the avoidance of doubt, these purported losses are vague, unsubstantiated, and embarrassing. And that's the bit that's really got me, is that even when I said, all right, I don't mind, or I do mind, but I don't mind, you've cancelled me, could we refund people's travel and time and hotel and things? And to be told that is vague. It's 500 tickets, but anyway, vague, unsubstantiated, and embarrassing. And I have to say, I know the law's not the law. I know there's no such thing as democracy, right? I know to question everything, but there is still this sort of small part in your soul, having spent so much time in America, that hopes about a church. I know Archbishop of Canterbury will be such a disappointment. I see the church really, throwing itself away. But I know people out there who have faith. And I say that your path's already set. I have belief that my path is set. And now I have to believe that the church, in particular represented by here, has nothing to do with my kind of faith, that your path is set. Because I cannot think of another basis where a man would write a letter that states so clearly the church can fund anything, the law will punish you, and that my efforts to help repay ordinary people is embarrassing. So I hadn't planned to do this. I'd planned to just say, if you were coming to King's Lynn, would you be kind enough to just check your email? The guy who was the organizer, promoter, has been sending out an email that I wrote to you. He's the one that has the money and will be refunding it to you with the booking fee, because he doesn't want to take your money in any way, because he knows what's gone on. And any problems, of course, I'm here, and we'll make sure everybody gets their money back. But I think, I feel a bit better now. I've sort of been dreading, putting the statement out, and been dreading trying to do Katie's Arms in my normal manner, because I know this is a truth I have to share. And I have now. And I'm not allowed to share it. And there actually is a threat in this letter as well from the Church's Conservation Trust, that if I speak about this, as I am doing here, although I'm doing it in vague terms, obviously I'm not quoting word for word, that they reserve the rights to go against me if I speak about this and damage the reputation of the Church's Conservation Trust by speaking about the cancellation.
Yeah. Katie Hopkins. Yep. All right. Kind of cool. The Great says New York Governor Hochul claims illegal immigration won't hurt VP Kamala Harris in the election because fewer migrants are crossing now than under Trump. Oh, boy.
Are you worried the migrant crisis is going to hurt Kamala Harris?
We're going to be just fine, because the number of migrants crossing illegally is lower today than it was under Donald Trump. We're make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah. New York, I don't know what's going on with you guys, but this lady is full of it. Yeah. Yep. All right. Here's Joe.
So you remember that Labour has mentioned Operation Scatter, which consists of dispatching the illegal migrants all across the UK. Well, I saw the reality of it this morning in my area. So it's not immediately in my area, but I walk my dog in that particular area from time to time. And I saw a bus of migrants, everybody going into the local hotel. And if you think that this is only going to be in the poor areas, you're very mistaken, because this hotel is on a street where all the houses are between 5 and 10 million pounds. So this is not going to be just, you know, in sort of like, you know, poor areas. It's going to be everywhere where the government finds space. So you're just going to see your reality change. I am obviously going to be monitoring, you know, the reality, because I actually often go there to walk my dog in the local area. So I will be monitoring to see if, you know, I start to feel not so safe, but I have a very big dog who would protect me. So, but not everyone is that lucky. So if you have seen the same thing in your area, you can share it.
So I'm getting this thing coming up on my StreamYard that says that I'm not broadcasting to X anymore. Let's see here. Oh, somebody must have heard me say something and got upset about it. But let me go here and check and see what's going on. Why we're not streaming to X anymore. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So all of a sudden, I'm not. Okay. So we'll remove that, and I'm going to add X back here in a second. We're going to remove the destination, and then we're going to re-add it. Yeah, and save changes. Let's see if we're able to go live. Error occurred. Wait a moment, and then try again. Yeah. Yeah, somebody must have just caught the beginning, the beginning of my podcast, and yeah. Let me see. Let's go to the home. Let's go to notifications and see if there's something in my notifications. See if somebody sent me a nasty message. They really don't like it when you call them out, though. Yeah. All right. Let's try it. Try and go live again. We're having trouble streaming to X, Twitter. This may be an issue on X's end. We'll keep trying to let you know if it's resolved. Please check X to ensure the stream looks okay. If this continues for a while, try creating a new live stream or just remove this destination from the stream and then re-add it. It looks like I might be back. Yeah, okay. So we're back on X. I apologize to those that we lost. I'm sorry that somebody must have gotten extremely butthurt because of the beginning of my video when I went into talking about child trafficking and what I experienced and certain things that I'm going to go ahead. I'm adding these to the feed, guys, because I knew that was coming. And so that we'll have more videos and stuff to watch. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So let's take this to home. Oh, looks like Kid Rock is too. So it looks like more than one person is endorsing today. And let's go ahead and add this one too. All right. Let's get back to the feed here. All right. So so let's hit here we go. Boris Johnson has got something to say. And boy, he looks a lot different than when he was yeah, I see it. Thank you very much. It says I'm live. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were still there. All right, here we go. Boris Johnson. Is it me or has this guy changed? I don't know.
In Keir Starmer's Britain, I'm worried for the first time in my life about freedom of speech. I mean, the freedom of everybody to say what they innocently think, even if it turns out not to be true, and the freedom of people to use ordinary English words about subjects like illegal immigration when they know that they're telling the truth. In Keir Starmer's Britain.
Yeah. So what's going on? What's going on with that? You know, that Boris Johnson's coming out. All right. Here's a little funny for you. This is a high-speed chase, and I want you to look at the dog that stops him. This is what's funny. This is hilarious. But here we go. Pull over now. Leave it to the German Shepherd to get him. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you not all howling during that. All right. Meeting the newest member of the family. Here we go. And I'm telling you, that's how old dogs will react if you bring home a puppy. All right. Here's what happens when you adopt a retired police officer or a retired police dog. Here we go.
All right, shopping list: bread, milk, pasta, eggs, mayo, cocaine. Just kidding.
I gotta play that one more time.
All right, shopping list: bread, milk, pasta, eggs, mayo, cocaine.
Oh yeah, yep. Isn't that funny? All right, significance of Kennedy endorsing Trump. Gene Ho, here we go.
All righty, I know by now you heard about RFK Jr., the other Jr., endorsing Donald Trump. Here's the thing. Here's the significance of it. By the way, with the significance, me and Bobby. All right, let me explain to you what's going on here and the significance and the huge significance of this. When RFK endorses Donald Trump, it's not just an endorsement. He gets to go on to the battleground states and take himself off of the ballot because if he was on the ballot, it would take away votes from Donald Trump or whatever. By taking him off and by endorsing Trump, he has all the infrastructure that goes to Donald Trump. What happens is RFK lends itself to his support to Donald Trump, and especially in the battleground states, because he's already registered in it, he can say, I officially want to be off the ballot. This, and by the way, as you know, RFK Jr. is a cousin of JJ, who started George Magazine. All I'm saying is, if you are a Trump fan, this is not a bad day. This is a good day for MAGA.
Yep, I think so. I believe that, we talk about the unity, we talk about the unity government, okay, but in the uniparty, okay, that are working for evil, and those that were working for good pretty much had to do it by themselves. And now we're seeing where the goods of both sides are coming together to say, you want to know what? We're going to make our own uniparty, that we're going to have a unified American party. And I think that that's going to make a huge difference, So how do men do it? Here we go.
All right. Hey, we're leaving in like 10 minutes. We need to go.
Just give me a second. I'll be ready.
Okay, just hurry up. We need to leave in 5 minutes, like out the door in 5 minutes. You have got to get ready.
I'll be ready. Don't worry. Go do your thing. I'll be fine.
Okay, well then hurry up. Oh my God. What? How did you?
Hey, we have to be out the door in 1 minute.
Don't rush me. Oh my God, you're always.
Take your time.
Hey,
all right, guys, how many of you have gone through that exact same scenario? All right. Listen, you guys gotta listen. This is more than this is comical perversion, okay? Comical perversion, okay? But you got to listen to the very end of this, all right? Here we go.
You marry her now. Now. In the arms of the angel.
This old lady, though, you marry her now. Oh, Lord. All right. Hero Dad. Here's another funny for you. Ready? Here we go. Oh, because we got to have some laughs and all the craziness that's going on around the world. All right. The Clearwater Threshers anointed a new bat dog, Lily, tonight. It didn't exactly go as planned. It's a single A for the bat dogs, too. Here we go.
Unbelievable. Oh my gosh. The crowd's going wild. So is this dog.
Yeah, maybe you should stick to the Bat Boys. All right. So here's another RFK supporter that changed his mind and is saying, there's something going on here. Here we go.
So this is the last time I'm going to do any kind of political post whatsoever on TikTok because But my candidate, Kennedy, has dropped out. So I have been asked by a few people who I'm going to vote for. I am a highly intelligent and educated person with common sense, and I do my due diligence on all candidates before I make a decision. And that's the glory of being an independent, and I think everybody should do that. But in learning that the DNC paid some of the most unstable characters on fucking TikTok to go to their convention and harass other people, and yes, there is proof of it. Wow. And there's so many women out there saying they're going to vote for Kamala Harris simply because she has a vagina. I have a vagina, but I damn sure know I couldn't run a whole country. Shit, I can barely run my life sometimes. When I look at a candidate, I look at all the things they haven't done. And the one thing that points out to me is how Camilla couldn't even handle the border. You see, I have family in Aurora, Colorado, and the illegal immigrants, the Venezuelans, a gang has taken over that city. And all of them were allowed to cross the border because there wasn't enough control over our borders. That was Camilla's job. And there's way more. I'm not going to vote for anybody that sucked a dick to get where they were. And I don't give a fuck if you don't like that I just said that.
It could be that X is just having streaming issues today. I don't know. Could be. I don't know.
Because as I said, I do my due diligence on somebody. I don't use the left-leaning media or the right-leaning media. I use actual real research on things. And my final reason is because Kamala Harris has supporters, as I said, that were paid to be there at the DNC, of the likes of Jolly Good Ginger. All my brothers are combat veterans, and they are Trump supporters. And for that man to call veterans a disgrace because of who they choose to vote for, those are the kind of people that are representing the Democratic Party. I would rather eat razor blades than to actually support somebody who pays supporters like that to be there. And great, I saw his apology. It was a whole lot of backtracking. But apologies don't mean shit when you keep repeating the same mistakes. And some of us on the internet have not forgotten that this is not the first, second, or even the third time that Jolly has gone after other veterans. So his apology don't mean shit to me. The Democrats actually should have paid attention to the influencers that they had fucking representing them. Because I probably would have voted for Kamala Harris if it wasn't for people like the Jolly Good Ginger. He absolutely made up my mind that if they can call upon the most unstable influencers on TikTok to actually represent them, it is not a party I want to represent. The end.
Yeah. Telling you how they're coming around. Every person has got their own little story. He's this red-haired dude that was at the RNC. That was the first time I had ever seen him, you know. But yeah, he's a piece of work. We'll just say that. All right. Carly Bonet says Kamala Harris protected pedos. Yes, she did. Here we go. Oh, and there's, just so you know, during the middle of this, I'll be taking a quick break for my 420. It's like 2 minutes away. You can feel free to join me. So grab your bongs, your bowls, your joints, your hookahs, your whatever the heck you're going to do. And I'll see you after this video. Peace.
Etc., and she ignored them. This went on for a long time, and my suit was going to court jury trial. So the priest who had molested me was in San Francisco working as a pastor at a church and school with access to children. So I wrote her again and said, I'm actively suing this man for child molestation, and he's with kids now, and so are a number of other clergy and teachers who have molested kids. You need to do something about this. And she kept ignoring it. So they kept the priest in ministry, and a number of us would protest at her office in San Francisco. We passed out flyers, virtually begging her to do something. She kept ignoring us. The press contacted her and said, why aren't you releasing these files and these names? And her answer was that she was protecting the victims. Well, I'm one of those victims, and she wasn't protecting the victims because the victims' names are redacted from the files and the claims. The only names that appear are those that are the predators. She was shielding them in our eyes, and we couldn't understand why. One thing, she wasn't prosecuting them, she wasn't investigating them, she wasn't releasing their names, and she kept shielding them. And we couldn't understand that.
And the DA who she beat wasn't shielding anybody, from what I understand you're saying. He was collecting the evidence. He was undertaking an investigation. Obviously, he was doing that for the purpose of taking action. You were able to communicate with him. I assume your lawyers were able to communicate with him. So she defeats him, and it completely changes the operation of the DA vis-a-vis these pedophiles and these predators, correct?
Correct. And I met with Terrence Hallinan. I went in his office. He showed me boxes and boxes of files. He says, look at all the files I have on these predators. He says, I'm going after them at full force, 100 miles an hour, and I'm going to get these guys and hold them accountable. And then it went from that to her taking the new position, and then nothing happened at all. Despite constant, asking her to do anything at all. She did nothing.
You are one of the leaders of this group called SNAP Survivors Network of those abused by priests, been doing it for 20 years. You were horribly molested at the Democrat National Convention. She told a personal story about a friend of hers who was abused by her father. And that's one of the reasons she decided to become a prosecutor. She's running as a top prosecutor who protects kids, who fights pedophiles. You're a Democrat. I just want to know your take on that when we come back. We'll be right back.
Yeah. So that's Levine with that young man. All right, name this city.
Oh, boy, You all right, Mama?
I have some business cards. I need a little couple of words so y'all.
You trying to get some business?
I'm trying to take care of some business. I don't want to get overheated out here doing what I gotta do. Can I have a cup of water?
Oh, I got you, baby. Go get you some cup of water.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, boy,
I don't know what's going on, but I'll just try to.
Yo, that's hand sanitizer. Oh, boy,
Yeah. What city is that? Anybody know? Half of America right now, seems. Yeah. All right. Bro went off script.
Tomorrow is World Naked Gardening Day. I need to know, is there a naked gardening club in Philly?
Mike would like to join.
Yeah, I'd like to see the hose and the rakes and trowels and all the equipment they use. No, you know what a trowel is.
My heart stopped for a second.
No.
Yeah, the gardening tools.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what.
Mulch, fertilizer. Tomorrow is World.
You guys caught that, right? You saw what?
Naked Gardening Day. I need to know, is there a naked gardening club in Philly?
Mike would like to join.
Yeah, I'd like to see the hose.
We can just stop it right there. We don't even need to play any more of it than that. I'd like to see the hose. Oh, Lord. Okay. I believe that the name is pronounced Danny Lee, laughing while being arrested for a hit-and-run DUI, which left a 17-year-old victim with a lacerated kidney and spinal fracture. Here we go.
Maybe for hitting a child.
I didn't hit nobody.
Oh, it's on camera,
At
so.
this point, you're being under arrest for two things: being the seat of an accident and for being under the influence while driving.
I'm not under the influence. I just passed all of your tests. I didn't.
Yes.
I wasn't
And
under
you
the
fled the
influence.
scene of an accident and you caused major injury to a
Yeah,
person.
to a child, not a person.
Now that's what it is.
Don Julio.
I didn't hit nobody.
We have cameras.
Can I see the cameras because I didn't hit
No, you're
nobody.
getting arrested, all right? That's point blank. You're
Arrested
good.
for what?
For DUI and for hitting somebody and
I'm
hitting
not
the
under
seat.
the influence. I just passed all the time.
You know what she told him though? She said, "Oh, we're celebrity." That's what the fuck.
No, don't.
Don't go over there. Or go over there. Yo. No. You can go over there. Come over right now.
Yeah, that's Quavo, the Migos. Those are my boys. Love, I'm an artist.
I know. Okay.
I'm a singer.
No.
You're
You know what?
I'm a singer.
Okay.
I'm an R&B singer. You can never arrest me.
Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean we don't
I
have to
know if I would have hit somebody, I know somebody would be dead.
Okay.
Type. You know, nobody's dying.
Okay. But I'm just telling you, it's a very serious situation. You're laughing.
And watch right here, you'll see it where she comes through and nails him. Here she comes right here, flying through there.
Oh, dude.
He is lucky to be alive right now. Yeah, so the witness said exactly what the witness said.
On May 30th, 2023, R&B singer Danny Lay, aka Daniel Carell, was speeding in a Mercedes G-Wagon while being lit off that 1942. A teenager who was on a scooter who was attempting to cross the street was hit by Danny Lay, who didn't even stop or slow down. She kept driving. The scooter was dragged along with the G-Wagon for several hundred yards, and the kid who was hit got hit to the ground. The kid suffered severe injuries. She was pulled over about 5 blocks later by Miami Beach police. The victim was rushed to the hospital. They suffered a kidney laceration and a spinal fracture. And this is what happened after Danny Lay claims she didn't even know she hit somebody.
Did you hit a scooter? I don't think so. All right. Do me a favor. Step out.
Step out?
Yeah, open the door.
I'm in a baby.
I know. Come on. Get out. One more. Take him out. Give me your stuff. Come on. Take everything out. Give me your wallet. Give me your phone. Give me your phone. Come on. Step out. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Yeah, take her out. You're not arrested right now. I'm just trying to figure everything out, okay?
Love, I'm an artist.
I know. Okay.
I'm a singer.
No, you're gonna. No what?
I'm a singer.
Okay.
I'm an R&B singer. You can never
What?
arrest me.
Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. Go ahead, sit down.
Sit down?
Yeah, sit. Sit down.
Oh my goodness.
What's up, boss? Wait, quick question, man.
Yes, sir.
You saw everything.
You saw everything. A to Z.
All right.
To now.
You saw her behind the wheel?
I saw her get out just now. I chased her down on the opposite side.
Yeah, you saw the car the whole time.
Absolutely. So she was fine. And then she was worried because I was on the left. And she was, I said, motherfucker. So they got money. I said, oh, watch. And I saw that moped come out.
Exactly what happened.
I saw it kept going.
And the scooter was
so at Espanola, no, it doesn't matter. She was.
No, I'm trying to find out, was your guys light red or
No, we were green. Okay. We were green. Okay. She just kept going. There was somebody in the pedestrian crosswalk with the scooter crossing, and she just rocked and didn't stop or nothing.
On the crosswalk?
So you,
no, at the intersection.
all right, I'm sorry. So you guys were coming north on Washington.
Excellent, yeah.
You guys' light was green.
Green.
But the guy with the scooter was crossing while the light was green?
Exactly.
Okay.
So maybe it was.
No, I understand, but we're just trying to figure out the actual story.
Yeah, that's fine. So at the same time, a bunch of people ran all the way up from 9th to Espanola and said, "Hey, you still got that guy's moped underneath your truck." The moped was still.
She started backing up and almost hit us to get out. To get out of the street. Yes, and we had to run right.
Guys, nothing happened. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what the fuck. I was literally
What do you say?
Mm-hmm. So endangering somebody's life because you want to drink some old stuff. Yeah, it's just it's a real shame. You know, I feel sorry for these kids. So let's go into this is Jolly Ginger, by the way. Okay, so let's go ahead, Let's go here.
One final thing, though. I don't know who said it, but apparently there's this rumor going around that I got paid $20,000 to come to the DNC. And coming on the internet making claims like that, quick way to get sued. I'll find out who said that, because spreading lies about people like that is not a good look, bud, whoever you are. And defamation lawsuits are real things.
I said it. Let me make your search real fucking easy. I said it. I said you were paid to go to the DNC. Sue me. I'm on here as the older millennial. My real name is Joe Redden. I live in Florida. Sue me, because then I get discovery, motherfucker. I get to look at your financial records. I get to know what you've been paid to say. I get to know every fucking dollar you got from Act Blue. I get to know every dollar you got from DNC. I get to know every dollar you got from Pallet Management. You want that? Then fucking sue me. Like I told you, it's Joe Redden. That's my real name. It'll be out just fine because I got a book coming out in a couple weeks. I don't give a shit. You want to tell me you weren't paid to be there? You want to tell me you weren't paid to make the content you do? That's perfectly fine. Go ahead and sue me, because then I get discovery. I get your financial records. We can play this game. You can have mine. You can have my financial records and see who pays me. My company that I work for pays me. TikTok pays me for views. I don't have any payments from the RNC. I don't have any payments from any conservative organization. But you do. And I want you to know that the minute you sue me, I get access to those financial records. And if you don't think I'll make videos about that, you're out of your fucking mind. Do you want to sue somebody? You want to call it defamation? Go ahead and sue me. I wish you fucking would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Richard, I love that comment. He says, what do you call a prostitute with a mattress tied to her back? An owner-operator. Oh, you're good. You're good, Richard. Oh, yeah. So, all right, moving on. Because he already caved into censorship pressure, Instagram has a massive child exploitation problem. But no arrest for Zuck, as he censors free speech and gives governments backdoor access to user data. And this is in regards to this post here. Naomi Siept. I'm not sure how to say her last name there. Why don't they arrest Mark Zuckerberg for enabling child predators? Two-tier policing. Defenders of free speech are the greatest threat to this country. That's correct. That's
Facebook and Instagram. New Mexico's Attorney General is accusing the social media giant and its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, of enabling child sex abuse and trafficking on its sites. CBS News senior business and technology correspondent Jolene Kent reports on the undercover investigation that used AI.
It was shocking, quite frankly, to see the explosion of sexual interest in these kids almost immediately.
New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres says his investigation into Meta found that Facebook and Instagram's algorithms created a marketplace for the.
Oh, here we go again with temporary signal issues with
Sexual exploitation of children. The civil lawsuit alleges Meta enabled adults to find, message, and groom minors, soliciting them to sell pictures.
Wow. Really?
Or participate in pornographic videos. Law enforcement set up an undercover operation using test accounts like this one, showing AI-generated photos of a fictional 13-year-old girl from Albuquerque. The complaint says followers flooded the account with unsolicited messages, filled with pictures and videos of genitalia, which she received at least 3 to 4 times per week.
Yeah. Sorry about the interruptions there, but you notice that almost every clip that I've played in regards to children and trafficking and everything are the ones that are getting signal issues. Is it just me, or am I right? You know. All right, Chanel Rion. I like this girl. I like her way of doing news. I thought during the big during the big COVID crisis, you know, that she was looked at by many of us as being that outside news reporter that didn't belong to the historical press club of Washington, D.C. and the White House. You know, she'd always be standing in the back, you know. But what I liked was that Trump always appreciated her questions and took extra time to answer them, you know. So I think this young lady has done some amazing reporting since she's gotten started. There was another girl that used to be on there too. She's off doing her own podcast thing now. But that was another one that really, you know, put a lot of things out there in the forefront and stuck to their guns in real journalism. And it is so important to see that. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bill, it's the, you know, yesterday or the day before yesterday's stream went fine. The day before that went fine. I think I went pretty much like 3 weeks straight doing a podcast every single day. I had to take the day yesterday. I was just overwhelmed. And you know, to be able to articulate what goes on with children is, and you know, as a grown man now, you know, having gone through what I've gone through, you know, it still affects me. It still, you know, sits in my mind. It's, you know, it's not, so between what happened to me and the illnesses that I have, you know, there's this time that I call the boo factor. And I kind of go through it every year, you know, and what it is, you know, I can take the illnesses and I can take all the world's issues and everything, and I can stick them in a jar and I can put them on the shelf. You know, I put them on the shelf for a while, and I can walk by it day after day after day after day. But every once in a while, that jar, the lid just pops up and they say, "Boo, motherfucker, here I am. I'm back." You know. Sometimes it's because you see a report on something and you have to share that report, no matter, you know, how much, you know, people are going to be hurt by it, you know, or how upset people are going to be because of it. But the thing is it's real life, and real life needs to be shared, not stories, you know. Stories is one thing, you know, but real life is another. And, you know, so yeah, the more we expose it, the more it seems that they really, really pound on us hard. But we're going to keep going. We're not going to stop, you know. I should probably get a backup X channel going here pretty soon, and probably get another YouTube channel set up. I'll get 27 to 28 set up. because as we get closer to the election, we're getting closer to that time where they're going to try and cut as much communication as possible. As a matter of fact, 24 is still active. So if something happened to 26, we would go back to 24 until either the situation with 26 was cleared up or that 27 and 28 were built and everything. But I gotta buy a new phone in order to do that, to get another channel set up. It was luckily Slow Country helped us out this time and got this one set up for me ahead of time. But so that I wouldn't have to go out and buy a new phone in order to get another channel going. I have a box of track phones from going out and buying those burner type phones and using them in order to get, new separate words for that one, Bill. Separate words. You can separate hawks and mustard seed. And 24, it's only 25 that all the words got put all together. So so 24 is our backup for now, guys. So if you have not if you've not subscribed to that channel yet, I would recommend doing so that if we disappeared here, you'd know where to find us next, and stuff. So, but we're gonna, it's Cheryl, they know it's, I mean, I show back up and, and I'm generally on camera, it's only since we started running the X and the data stream on X is not compatible to my camera being accessible. It seems that, I've been having signal issues anytime. And it's the same thing with YouTube too. I can't play clips and things like that if I have my camera on. Could be just the computer itself. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. All right, but back to Chanel Rion. Here we go.
The DNC, the Democrats have trotted out leftist favorites, Democratic figureheads, and progressive cringe fest activists. Protesters gathered outside the arena last night to protest on behalf of Palestine, clashing and getting violent with police in order to, in their words, make it great like 68. A reference to the 1968 violent DNC protests from anti-war radicals. Democrats did not seem to spotlight these people during the convention, though. After last night's joy fest with the Hamas-sympathizing protesters gathering outside, could the DNC be ready to spoil the fun? They have breached barricades, bomb threats have been reported. Are there terrorists embedded in this crowd of anti-Semites, soy boys, and rabid abortion feminists? There are. They have no need to worry. The state attorney for Cook County said protesters will not be prosecuted. Joining us now is Kara Castronova, boxer, former candidate for U.S. Senate in New York, and investigative journalist, truly a Renaissance woman. Kara, I know you're a savvy observer of social movements. What do you think is going on with these protesters? What do you think their main goal is at the DNC?
I think the main goal is to obviously, distract and cause chaos. As always with protesters, there's probably some federal agents embedded in there. I did a lot of investigative work with Gateway Pundit on January 6th, so it's really mind-blowing to me and actually very disturbing that, these people aren't going to be prosecuted in the same way that January 6th people were prosecuted for essentially, doing probably more damage than people did on January 6th. So the law is just not fair right now. I know that the Attorney General came out, Kim Foxx, and said that she will not be actually going against these protesters and prosecuting them. I'm sure if it was something like at a Trump rally and people there were protesting, that would not be the case. So it's very, very unfair, in my opinion.
Well, Kara, I mean, I know you've been in the thick of things, but when you tell a crowd like this that they're not going to be chased down or prosecuted by the authorities, doesn't that fuel more irresponsible activity, especially as a group?
Of course, and you could see it's getting more and more violent. People are breaking past barriers. They're becoming more brazen, fighting with police. So you could definitely see that they're really not afraid of any ramifications. And, who knows? I mean, I always say the power pendulum swings and they could get prosecuted in the future, just like the people did on January 6th. But it looks like right now the Democrats need them to vote. They need them to get into office. Kamala Harris has really backed herself into a corner. She needs these people to get into office, so she's pandering to them. And I think the word is from the top: just leave these protesters alone because we need them to get into office.
Wow. Doesn't get any clearer than that, right? They just need to get into office. That's yeah. All right, this woman's on fire. I mean, she's not really on fire, but what she's saying is fire.
They don't got abortion clinics at the border. They're telling us as American women, specifically Black American women, we need to abort our children. But if you coming across the border with your baby, come to the land of milk and honey, the great land of opportunity. We'll take care of you. Joe Biden even said, I'll give illegal immigrants coming across the border $400,000 a piece. Can you imagine if they were to go to that Black single mother living in the hood, not even $400,000, offer $4,000, because I know some Black women that can make something jump with $4,000. Offer her $40,000. You know why they'll never give us that? Because they know that we'll never need them again. Welfare reminds me of an old man I used to date. I was in a relationship with him for 11 years. He would never marry me, right? But whenever my bills were due, I would tell him he would give me just enough. He had a whole lot of money. He would give me just enough. Rent due, $1,200. He'd give me $1,200, not 1 cent over, because he knew that every month the rent was due, that I would have to come back to him. He wouldn't give me $100,000 and say, here, baby, bump that, go buy you a house and start you a business, because then he felt like I wouldn't need him. The government system is the same way when it comes to Black Americans. They'll never give us enough to get over and get up. It's only enough to make sure we continue to come back every 30 days so that we can remain slaves to their system. They don't got abortion clinics at the border. They don't got abortion clinics at the border.
Yeah. It's like, it's... Okay, Carly Bonet says, where are the missing children? And that's a damn good question. Maria Barataroma, here we go.
Exploitation and or forced labor. Last week in Chicago, Kamala Harris said she would secure the border if elected. But on her watch, more than 8 million migrants have been encountered at the border, with an additional almost 2 million plus having evaded apprehension altogether and disappeared into the country without a trace. 10 million illegals now on her watch. Joining me now with more on the VP's agenda and state of the race is Utah Senator Mike Lee, a member of the Senate Judiciary and Budget Committees. Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Your reaction to the agenda here and Kamala Harris's new promises of securing the border, should she be elected?
Look, it's hard to lose 320,000 children. I'll note with a degree of cynicism here that the Department of Homeland Security has acknowledged that these children have a higher than average risk of being subjected to trafficking. You think? Look, that's the whole way they came into this country. It's the one thing they all have in common. They were all trafficked. They lost control, lost awareness of their whereabouts. That is unforgivable, as is the fact that they've let in more than 10 million illegal immigrants into this country over the last 3.5 years. And they've done so in a way that has inured to the benefit of international drug cartels to the tune of billions of dollars a year. This is absolutely criminally reckless, what they're doing. They're acting with conscious disregard to the fact that we're undergoing a type of invasion. It's not a formal one, but it is an invasion nonetheless, because they're refusing adamantly to enforce our laws and losing 320,000 kids in the process.
Senator, I want to get your take on the SAVE Act, which you've spoken about so much. And I know that the Republicans are pushing the act pretty aggressively in terms of ensuring that anybody who votes in this upcoming presidential election has proof of citizenship. Do you have any expectation that it's going to come to the floor in the Senate for debate?
Look, it must come up for a vote in the House and in the Senate. And the way to do that is for us to attach it to the next spending bill, likely a continuing resolution. It'll come up in September. Look, the American people agree overwhelmingly, Maria, like by a margin of 3 out of 4, that first of all, only U.S. citizens ought to vote in federal elections. And secondly, when you register to vote in a federal election, you ought to have to be able to prove who you are, that you're a U.S. citizen, just as you have to do whenever you start a new job in America. When you fill out an I-9, you've got to provide proof of citizenship.
Right.
So with the SAVE Act, what we're saying is we should require nothing less to vote in federal elections than you have to establish when you start a new job. Spending bill. And that's the best way to move that through, to make sure that the 10 million plus illegal immigrants who have come in the last 3.5 years and the estimated roughly 30 million non-citizens total in the United States aren't voting in this November's election.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Mike Johnson has talked about this. Do you think that he is going to be able to attach that? Will he dig in this time and attach it and say we're not going to do a continuing resolution unless this is attached? And what about the Senate? Who's going to be aggressively ensuring that it's attached in the Senate?
Okay, so first of all, if Mike Johnson does that, and I hope he does, because this would be a great opportunity to show contrast between the two parties. It would be a great opportunity to give Americans relief that most Americans believe we need and we want. If he were to do that and then say, okay, the House of Representatives has done its work, good luck, Senate, and then they go. Then what's Chuck Schumer going to do? Is Chuck Schumer really going to pick a fight over this? Is Chuck Schumer really going to put us into a shutdown? Does he so badly want non-citizens, including the 10 million illegal immigrants they just left in? Does he really so badly want them to decide the outcome of this election that he's willing to shut down the government over it? I hope not.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk with Lara Trump about this coming up, but how worried are you that illegals are trying to register to vote, given the reports that we saw in the last few weeks?
Well, look, we've seen it in various jurisdictions around the country. There are a handful of states, including, I believe, Virginia, Louisiana, Alabama, who have done some investigating into their own voter registration files. And they've found a lot of non-citizens, including a whole lot of illegal immigrants, registered to vote. To their great credit, they're doing their best to cull through those and to remove those whom they believe to be illegal immigrants. And I hope other states will do the same. But the SAVE Act would fix this by, number one, creating a criminal penalty for those who give ballots to illegal aliens. Number two, saying that moving forward, to register to vote in a federal election, you got to show you're a citizen.
Yeah, obviously. All right, Senator, real quick before you go, you tweeted out your concerns about the First Amendment protections. And I want you to talk to us about what you're worried about right now from your standpoint on the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Yeah, so look, on my Base Mike Lee account on Twitter, I tweeted out the other day that I believe that it's really, really a significant concern that if you own a media company in America, you can say whatever you want, whenever you want, in support of whatever candidate you choose to support. If, on the other hand, you were a U.S. citizen who, like most U.S. citizens, most hardworking Americans, don't own a media company, they don't own a printing press or broadcast equipment, if they want to support a candidate, there are myriad circumstances in which they can't do that without filing a whole bunch of paperwork, a lot of disclosures, and comply with this Byzantine labyrinth of federal regulations, failure to comply with which can land you in jail or facing significant fines or both. It really isn't fair. Look, I believe the First Amendment protects core political speech.
Okay.
Core political speech is the most essential part of First Amendment protection. So it's not fair to give full protection to media companies and only partial protection to American citizens, requiring them to go to the federal government for a series of mother may I's before they can speak their minds.
Senator, it's a good point to make. We'll be watching you work on that. Thank you.
All right. Cover a couple of very big topics there, children and, and talking about, our First Amendment, our right to free speech, and to produce our own news. It needs to be done. It needs to happen, All right, Laura Loomer says, here's the clip. The Chinese Communist Party is grooming Tim Walz. Here we go.
Do you believe that the Communist Party has been grooming Tim Walz?
Oh, I think there's no question about it, Maria. It goes back to the exchange program that he ran and brought hundreds of students from the United States to China. In the early press accounts, Tim Walz describes it as unique and unusual and different, a program that nobody else has. And at the same time that he's bringing those students there, by the students' accounting, Tim Walz is saying things like, well, in China, nobody is poor because everybody shares in China, as if sort of the compulsive arm of the CCP is voluntary. I mean, sharing is voluntary. It's a ridiculous statement to make. There are other comments he made. He told students going to China to downplay their Americanness. There's an account from one student, I haven't been able to independently verify it, saying that he brought back lots of copies of Mao's Little Red Book when he was in China. So this is a relationship that's longstanding, and it carried forward when he joined Congress and the actions that he was taking in Congress as well.
This is very concerning. You also have notes on a meeting that he had with Premier Li in 2016.
Yeah, this is very interesting. He goes to China in 2016 with a few other Democrats. He recounts how he's meeting with Chinese officials, and he says, oh, I was here in China in December of 1989. And they said, no, it was February of 1990. I mean, in other words, they had been tracking him when he was a young man. But in that meeting with Premier Li, it's a classic example of elite capture and what the Chinese call big help with a little bad mouth. Tim Walz has talked about the human rights condition in China, but it's never in the context of doing anything about it. And during this meeting with Premier Li, he told Premier Li, well, don't look to the United States as an example of how to do this because we don't know how to do it right either. Those are his descriptions of what he told Premier Li. So it's this massive moral equivalence, which is exactly what China wants from elites in the United States. Talk about human rights, but don't do anything about it. And also create this moral equivalence that the Chinese system's not any worse than ours. That is exactly what Tim Walz has done over the years.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, boy. The news, it just keeps piling up, doesn't it? You know. All right. This is Andrew Tate.
They managed to steal this election from Trump. It is so over. The fact that we're not currently in a situation where Trump has a 99% approval rate shows that it's already almost over for the West. The fact that there are full-grown adults who will sit there and want Kamala to girl boss her way into office, as opposed to getting one of the most competent and successful businessmen on the planet back in office, who had the most successful presidency in history ever. And we don't want him back. No, we want this girl boss who's universally hated and who's never done an interview, won't sit down. She's never told you her policy. She's never told you her intention to fix anything. She has no track record of competence, nothing. But she's a girl and girl boss. So let's make her in charge of the most powerful military on the planet. If you want Kamala to win, you are an idiot. They manage.
Yep. Andrew Tate said it for everybody. If you want her to win, you're an idiot. You are blind. I really want to show this video, but it's I'd end up getting a copyright here on YouTube and on Facebook for it. Slow Country's special delivery. Here we go. Let me make it bigger. Hey, Slow Country, have I said ha 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 lately? She had 10. Look at all them beautiful puppies. Yeah. Great job there, brother. Great job. Good mom. Yeah. That's like a mid-sized litter for me. It's like, we've had 14, 15 pups per litter. It's yeah, crazy. Here's Elon Musk with Bill Moore.
So I think a lot of people thought when you bought Twitter that this is kind of an outlier. Like, how does this, what doesn't fit with these other things you're doing? I never thought that. Because I think you're dealing with big civilizational issues and problems, and I was right on your page. I think Twitter is one of them. I mean, you have talked about this woke mind virus.
Yes.
in really apocalyptic terms. I don't. You should explain why you don't think it's hyperbole to say things like it's pushing civilization towards suicide. First of all, what is the woke mind virus? And if we don't deal with this, nothing else can get done. Tell me why you think that.
Yeah. So I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic, and anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech. So, those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous. Is that it's often anti-meritocratic. You can't question things. Even the questioning is bad. So, another way to almost synonymous would be cancel culture. And obviously people have tried to cancel you many times.
Many times.
Yeah, I mean,
every week.
Yeah.
From left and right. I've had it from both sides.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. People, you and I are both like in that little group of people. Maybe it's a bigger group now.
Yeah.
Who are called conservative, who haven't really changed. I don't think of you as a conservative.
I'm definitely, yeah, like I at least think of myself as a moderate. So, I mean, at least I've spent a massive amount of my life energy building sustainable energy, electric vehicles and batteries and solar and stuff to help save the environment. That's not a
No.
It's not exactly far right.
Yeah, that's a little Elon Musk for you. Let's see. Okay, moving on. This is Birmingham, UK. A father protecting his family got stabbed in the neck by 3 youths who recorded the whole thing and then mocked him as he bled out on the street. The guy did die. Just up the road. Now these kids are going to grow up without a father. And that's a shame. It's a real shame. All right. So many ways to cheat, says Laura Logan. They're counting on it being too late by the time we figure it out. Pinellas County breaking, thousands of undelivered vote by mail ballots were cast on August 20th primary election in Miami, and this was put out by the Miami Independent. Let's see here. I thought that there was a video for this, but according to the data obtained by the Florida Secretary of State's office, let's see, do they give me one sec, guys. Okay. According to data obtained by the Florida Secretary of State's office and run through the National Change of Address and USPS systems, thousands of ballots that were undeliverable have been found to have been cast during the August 20 primary election in Pinellas County. The data was run through investigate journalist Peter Bernegger's Titan system to match ballots listed as undeliverable and still cast. In one specific example, 6,375 sorry, guys. I'm attempting to get some human food today. It's looks like I don't know. If in one example, 6,375 ballots were cast where the voter had moved permanently out of state and no longer able to vote in Florida elections, the ballots should have been returned as undeliverable. In another example, 3,515 ballots were cast for voters who had moved and left no forwarding address. In other words, there is no way these voters would have been able to cast a ballot that was never received. These are just two examples of many more thousands of ballots that were listed as undeliverable. Somehow, these ballots were harvested and cast. This does not take into account ballots that could have been harvested by people unaware they requested a ballot on June 23rd when 219,000 mail-in ballots were requested on a Sunday when the Pinellas Elections Office was closed. Hundreds of affidavits have been collected from voters declaring they never requested a mail-in ballot but still received one. Requesting a ballot in someone else's name is illegal and a felony in Florida. And this is what I want to tell you guys, is if you all of a sudden get a mail-in ballot at your home and you didn't request one, don't fill it out. Leave it in the envelope sealed, okay? And then go and do your vote. And if they say that you already voted because of a mail-in ballot, you can pull the mail-in ballot out of your pocket and say, no, I have my mail-in ballot. You're committing fraud. Right there on the spot. So that gives you legal recourse. All right. Elon Musk says, how is this even real? Breaking. UK government prepares to deploy asylum seekers across the country. Immigrants will be given priority over Britons when it comes to finding housing. And that's a real shame, too. It really is. You know, a year ago today, America finally had enough. Here we go.
There's a lot of y'all who voted Democrat, who had issues with Trump. Not even that you even know why you had your issues, just the media pushed it. And so you guys hated him. All right, it's all good. But at some point, many of y'all have changed your mind. And you now support Trump, but you're doing it on the sneak. Come on, y'all. Let's own up to it so that we can all support this man together.
The hood is waking up. And what I mean by that is the lower income blacks that the Democratic establishment has been holding on to, even they're starting to see through the bull crap. They're starting to even realize that they've been lied to, that they've been pimped out. And a lot of them are not afraid to speak out anymore. This is a problem for the Democrats.
These so-called blacks nowadays, we rocking with Trump, man. Even the youth, they know what time it is, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to have no back and forth debates, no arguments, no none of that. We know who we rocking out with. Listen to this. I ain't never voted a day in my life. Never. I know who I'm rocking with. And my first vote ever, I'm saying to the man, the way they fucking with this man, and just a whole little demonstration that's taking place, man. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know who we rocking with, man. The man, ain't nobody done shit more than the man for us in all this time. So I mean, hey, let's rock out. We rocking out. Trump 2024, man. That's our president, man. Free to Trump.
I was scrolling on Instagram and I seen blacks for Trump, and I was like, what? We finally on board with Trump? Finally? I don't know. It was a proud moment for me because to see us come together collectively again, I need to free Trump. Stop playing. We need our president out of jail because let's be honest. We made more money underneath Trump than any other presidency ever.
And I don't give a damn who this offends. But if that nigga Trump get convicted of this crime and he can still run for president, I'm voting for his ass. I'm voting for that nigga. I'm voting for him. If that nigga gets convicted and he can still run for president, just to see what the fuck he do, because that nigga funny now. Trump is funny as hell. I'm voting for him. I'm telling you right now, okay? So just miss me with it. Make America great again.
When are you guys gonna learn? The more you indict, the more we unite. Facts. It's Trump 2024. We don't care. You heard me? We already made our mind up. You already know when the hood got your back. Man, they deep in the hood, gangsters. Hollering about Trump 2024. You heard me? Woo woo. Wow. Gangsters. The hood got this man back. Nobody being fooled no more. We all the way up. You heard me? It's Trump 2024. That's what it's gonna be, because we ain't having nothing else.
Trump is a brother now.
So, anyways, I played that video a year ago, and look at the difference that we've seen in the videos that I've been showing you guys in the communities, especially the minority communities, really coming forward. And I thought that was a great anniversary kind of video, because it was a year ago since that info was put out, since those guys came forward. All right. Harris Biden are clawing back $2.5 billion given to the veterans as part of a program they were eligible for to retire early. Insurrection Barbie put this out. Let's take a listen.
Common Sense 101. This current administration is requiring veterans, our war fighters, to return money that was offered to them when they were active duty under a program known as Redux. When the military's fighting force is over strength, as it's called, then soldiers, depending on your MOS, are offered a way to just go ahead and retire early, maybe at 15 years and 1 month. So they can do their reduction in force and save some money, and the soldier has some money as a cushion. When he would have normally had 20 years or more, he gets out a little bit early. I said he or she. But this current administration is clawing back the money that these soldiers were offered as a program to reduce the force, or else they wouldn't have got out early. Look, NBC News. Government has clawed back more than $2.5 billion given to veterans to leave the military, data shows. These soldiers are now, these war fighters, our veterans, are being forced to give back money that they were offered to get out of the military. This is yet another Ponzi scheme by this current administration. They did this to me when I was a federal employee, when I worked under the Trump administration and I was getting the Trump tax cuts. Yes, I was getting the Trump tax cuts. It was not just billionaires, okay? I was getting the tax cuts. As soon as Biden got in January 2021, I started receiving emails saying, yeah, I know you got the tax cuts under the previous administration, but yeah, we're going to stop those tax cuts. Oh yeah, and by the way, you're going to have to pay back every single dime that you earned that we said you don't deserve to have. They snatched every dime back. You can't gaslight me on it, bro. I have the freaking receipts. They took back my money. They are doing this. This is not right-wing conspiracy. This is NBC News. They are not right-wing. This is a disgrace. Our government is abusing us. I need every veteran to get on the horn. Start calling your congressman. Start calling your VA reps. Start calling the domestic abuse and violence hotline, because we are being literally abused by our government. These individuals are literally spending millions of dollars, just spent millions of dollars on a DNC event, 4 days of torture to try to get you to reinstall them so they can do more things like this. Oh, if you think it's going to stop with just veterans, if you're comfortable with that, you're next. Tyrants gone tyrant. You will not escape the tyrannical tendencies. I don't know. Were you around for 2020? Did you see how tyrannical these individuals can get? We have a country full of foreign nationals who came here illegally, who never have to pay back any of the money that they have been stealing from us by way of benefits that they never earned. But veterans who fought for this country, some like my husband who fought and died for this country, have to pay back billions of dollars that they were promised. Because I'm sure when these soldiers were active duty, if you would have told them that, oh yeah, by the way, in 10, 15 years, you're going to have to pay back this money, they would not have taken the redux. They would have just stayed in and did the 20. Bruh, we are being abused by our government. This is domestic violence. This is abuse. These soldiers don't have this money to pay back, but they're not going to give you a choice. There is no payment plan. They just steal it from your check. They take it first and give you what's left. This is unacceptable. These bastards cannot continue to do this to us. Do not vote for these people to return to office to do this again. And if you think that because they are installing this other individual, that the same thing that has happened the last 4 years won't happen again, you are up out of your rabbit ass mind. Trump would have never done this. They have never done this before. This administration is just stealing left and right, bro. They are just taking our money. Look at this again. $2.5 billion from veterans who are not working, who don't have this kind of money. Some are working, but damn, they're not active duty. They don't have the benefits that they did when they were active duty. And now this current administration is forcing them to pay back money that they don't have, while illegal aliens are up in 5-star hotels getting room service and free food. Wow. America, we're losing her, and you're paying for it. Common sense 101. Don't let this stay like this. Do something. Everybody, do something.
Crap. Yeah, now I got to do that all over again, don't I? All right, so sorry. Yeah, I forgot. She was a little bit loud, so I killed my mic so that it wasn't coming through twice. Didn't have an echo to it. Sorry about that. But Slow Country says, absolute truth. I have a friend that has gone through at least 25 channels on YouTube. I wonder who he's talking about. A Twitter account that was torched after calling out Adam Schiff. Another friend that was debanked. YouTube accounts torched, and also Facebook's accounts that were torched. Myself, I've been struck multiple times from YouTube in the past and was in Facebook jail more than I was out before I killed my Facebook account. And my account has been shadow banned on YouTube and probably here on X also. They are afraid of the truth getting out. So he has shared a comment or a video of Just Jen Reacts. And now I really like Just Jen. I thought I was following her already. They unfollowed me from her. Had to have been a while ago because he was or she was coming up on my feed pretty regular, especially on YouTube. And I really like what she does. You know, she's a single mom who's really really pushing the envelope. A lot of respect, mad respect for what she does with her prison ministry as well. Yeah, Just Jen Reacts. Let's take a listen.
Do you know what it tells me? When conservative content creators are constantly suppressed, shadow banned, censored, it tells me that the people on the left are so fearful that the truth will actually get out that they target conservatives because of just that. They don't want the truth to get out because it destroys their narratives at every turn. So if conservatives who are telling the truth are not a threat, then why are you suppressing them? Why are you shadow banning them? Why are you censoring them? Things that make you go,
Yep, absolutely right. She is too.
Do you know what it tells me?
Thanks for sharing that out, Soul Country. Appreciate that very much. I'm getting short on time here. There were a couple that I wanted to get to that I felt needed to be heard and seen today because of today, and what today is. And today is a reminder of 13 servicemen who were killed in the Afghanistan withdrawal. It's the anniversary for that, and Arlington National Cemetery, and I'll cover a bunch of these that are here tomorrow, but I want to get to this topic that I'm talking about here. But today is the anniversary of the 13 servicemen members who were killed. And what I want you to notice is this is Arlington Cemetery. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Okay. Who's that? Yeah. Now the question is, well, I'll let the news tell you. Here we go.
Treason! Oh!
Okay, so the questions are coming up right now in the chat. One says, where's Harris? Next question is, where's Biden? Donald Trump, somebody who is running for office, who shows up? Well, this is a press conference that happened immediately afterwards. Okay.
Fox is the best, but of the other side. As an example, today we had a celebration of some great people, some great people who passed away, who were killed in the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, because we had an incompetent president with incompetent people leading it, and every one of those people should have been fired. He never fires anybody. Those generals, Milley, and every one of them should have been fired. They took the military out first. If I asked, do we have any children in the room? Because if I asked a child, who should go first, they would say everything but the military. They took the military out first, and then it was a bloodbath, and it was a horrible thing. It was a horrible thing. And I just went to Arlington Cemetery, and you saw a ceremony with the parents, the sisters in one case, brothers in another case. And these are people that should have never been killed. And when you see the fact that nobody's mentioning Afghanistan, no, this is the third year. This is, I hate to even call it an anniversary because I don't like the word anniversary in this case. But this is the third year of that tragic event. And because of that event, we did so badly that Russia went in and invaded Ukraine. Israel was attacked, as you know, on October 7th. We have people don't respect us. They don't respect us anymore as a country. And where is our president? We don't even have a president. We have a fascist person running who's incompetent. And we have a president who's not even around. He went to California for a vacation because they threw him essentially out of the party. And then he came back home and I said, oh, is he going to go to the White House? No, he went to Delaware to take another vacation. And you got Russia over there with like nuclear threats. We got to have a president. We got to have a real president that's respected. So as to your question, I think it's disgraceful. And I think ABC is a disgrace. I think having Donna Brazile sitting on that panel, and she's the one that gave the answers and the questions to Hillary Clinton before a debate. I think ABC should be shut out. I'd much rather do it on NBC. I'd much rather do it on CBS, frankly. I think CBS is very unfair, but the best of the group. And certainly I'd do it on Fox. I'd even do it on CNN. I thought CNN treated us very fairly the last time. I think Jake Tapper was very fair and Dana Bash was very fair. But when I watched this interview of Tom Cotton, fortunately, he's a total pro. He knows what he's doing. And then when I watched the roundtable after that, I said, the hostility is crazy. So we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it. They also want to change the rules. You know, the deal was we keep the same rules. Now, all of a sudden, they want to make a change in the rules because she can't answer questions. Why doesn't she do a couple of question answer? Why doesn't she do something like I'm doing right now? She can't talk. We can't have another dummy as a president, okay? We cannot have a dummy. And the people from Vietnam agree with that.
Would you want the microphone muted in the debate whenever you're not speaking?
We agreed to the same rules. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on, but the agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time. In that case, it was muted. I didn't like it the last time, but it worked out fine. I mean, ask Biden how it worked out. It was fine. And I think it should be the same. We agreed to the same rules, same specifications. And I think that's probably what it should be. But they're trying to change it. The truth is they're trying to get out of it because she doesn't want to debate. She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person. She doesn't want to debate. But when I looked at the hostility during the weekend, you watch it. This week with George Slopadopoulous. And the Vietnamese didn't get that one. You got it. Yes, sir. If you didn't get it, but no, we want to have fairness. We have to bring fairness back to the country. And we have to have a president. We are the closest to World War III, I believe, that we've ever been right now, right this second. And we have a man that just took a vacation in California. He was on the beach, and he came back today. Where's he going? Delaware. Why? Another vacation. He's going for another week. That's not the Vietnamese. They're hardworking people, aren't they? All right.
President Trump, how are you specifically preparing for the debate versus Harrison?
I'm not, really. I'm not spending a lot of time on it. I think my whole life I've been preparing for a debate. You know, you can go in and you can have all sorts of sessions. I watched Mitt Romney go in, and he worked so hard. He 4 weeks, he locked himself into a log cabin, and then he developed lockjaw. He couldn't speak. I watched other people. I mean, you basically, you have to be real. You know, you can't cram knowledge into your head for, 30 years of knowledge in 1 week. So, there's a little debate prep, but I've always done it more or less the same way. And you have to know your subject. And I think I know my subject. I think I know it better than.
Yeah. So yeah, he strange place to have to do a press conference from, but there was another clip that I wanted to share as well. That I thought was very where are you? Come on. I know you're closer to the top here. Okay. This has got to be the last one because I've got to head up to my gate. But on this same topic, so this is Benny Johnson put this out. President Trump speaks over the phone with the family of a fallen soldier, Staff Sergeant Ryan Noss, as he lays flowers at the foot of their son's grave. And really, it just makes me think of the Michael Jackson song. And I made a comment regards to this earlier. I said, they're on Twitter. It really makes me think of that song that Michael Jackson did. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. Well, all I want to say is that he's the only one that really cares about us. I would almost rewrite part of that song to include that. Yeah. All right. So Buffering is dropping a link, and that link is for Scriptkeeper Live right now. Scriptkeeper's live, and an incredible individual, incredible researcher, somebody who loves his country, loves his God, loves his creator, and is working hard to get the truth out there as much as possible. I'm going to wish you all an awesome day. Remember, our Creator loves you, his Son, the Christ, Jesus, he loves you, and I love you. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Peace.